아, 폭발했습니다. 아, 죄송합니다. 아, 그나마 계셨던 분들 다 튕기셨겠네. 아유, 죄송합니다. 근데 지금 렉이 풀리면서 어설픈 상점에서 사온 거 1000만 원 나왔어요. 컴퓨터가 안 좋지 않거든요. 근데 하드에 문제가 있어요 지금. 그래갖고 그 C 드라이브 밀고 윈도우 다시 깔아야 될 상황입니다 지금. 혼자 어버버 이러고 있네. 아, 죄송합니다. 지금 방금 방송 터져가지고 다시 켰습니다. 좀 전에 디스코드도 제대로 돌아가서 상점에서 산 반지 요거 안 보이네? 왜 안 보여? 요거 지금 가격이 올라가고 있어요. 옵션이 뭐냐면 극대화 피해, 취약 피해, 부상적 피해, 행운의 적중입니다. 지금 이 상태에서 제가 이 포스트를 수정한다는 뜻은 그딴 가격에 팔 마음 없다라는 거를 은연중에 얘기해 주는 거죠. 얘네들한테. 포스트 수정. 더 홍보할 마음이 있는 거 보니 그 가격엔 못 주겠다 이 말이군. 이라고 생각할 눈치 빠른 놈이 있길 바랍니다. 그대로 두고 15. 그래도 나 얼마만이냐 이거 아이템 팔아먹는 거. 요겁니다. 아니, 게임 사이즈가 좀 이상한 것 같은데. 그 세라프 한 번만 더 켜볼게요. 한 번만. 진짜 한 번 정도는 봐줄 수 있잖아. 세라프 또 켰다가 진짜 조금이라도 낌새 이상하면 로딩 중에 꺼버릴게. 강종해버릴게요. 그냥. 일단은 디아 먼저 끄고. 디아블로 종료가 렉이 오지게 걸리네. 프레임 드랍 없는 것 같은데? 프레임 드랍 없어. 오, 좋아. 됐다. 그러게요. 뭐가 문제인지 모르겠어요. 오케이. 가봅시다.
I understand Malpa's concerns about the church in Zaire. My brother and I grew up.
민경복님 안녕하세요. 그 민첩이 있다면 다른 옵션 하나 빼고 모든 능력치가 있어도 되겠지만 민첩이 없다면 민첩이 있어야 되겠죠? 방패사 방패. 이 게임은 참 디아2랑 비슷해요. 알록달록한 디아2? 찬스 투 겟 매직 아이템. 매직 아이템 얻을 확률 7%. 좋아, 너로 가. 이걸로 간다. 나는 매직 아이템을 얻고 싶다. 아, 은비나무님 안녕하세요. 이거는 세라프입니다. 지금 비공개 클로즈 베타 중이에요. 좋은 기회가 생겨가지고 해보게 됐어요. 지금 아직 정식 오픈일이 언젠지는 모릅니다. 저도. 아 근데 너무 시끄럽네 이거. 천둥 치는 소리가. 그리고 정식 오픈 때 한글화 지원이 된대요. 이거 왜 안 눌려 이거. 일단 적용은 됐네. 아 적용하고 끄기가 없구나. 여기로 가야죠. 아직 쪼렙 구간이라 진짜 답답할 것 같아요. 한 것 같아요. 좀. 뭐야 얘 왜 한 방에 죽어? 나 개센데? 근데 보면은 목걸이 나왔어. 플레임 저항, 무기 독 데미지 추가. 좋았어. 약간 그 마이너한 레토로한 감성이 있어요 게임에. 근데 이런 게임이 재밌으려면은 자 파밍하는 맛이 좀 있어야 되거든요. 심지어 울센도 재밌는 부분이 있어요. 울센 2020년에 잠깐 유행했던 게임 첫 출시 때 재밌는 부분이 있단 말이에요. 요즘에 방송에서 그런 말 잘못하면 큰일 납니다. 그렇기 때문에 이게 얼음 데미지가 들어가는 것 같네. 저도 진짜 그 누구보다 과장 안 보태고 그 누구보다 더 잘 그런 말 할 자신 있습니다. 근데 그러면 안 돼. 그렇죠. 뒤질 뻔했네. 물약이 1, 2, 3, 4라 헷갈려요. 이게 그 휠윈드도 있거든요? 헐윈드? 월윈드. 어제 우리 들었죠? 월윈드? 월윈드가 또 있거든요? 존나 어색하네. 그냥 휠윈드로 합시다. 네. 휠윈드도 있어요. 여기 이 게임이 스킬창 한번 보면은 근데 또 요 스킬 이미지 자체는 손으로 그렸어요. 보니까 느낌 있더라고. 이런 거. 이건 뭐 던지기, 이건 양손 쌍수 던지기, 이거는 휠윈드 X, 회전하는 도끼, 요거는 프렌즈 X인데 광분하는 도끼, 뭐 이런 거고, 이거는 강타 스매시, 그리고 리프 찹, 그러니까 점프해서 찹 때린다 이 말이고, 이거는 플레임 리프 찹이라고 또 있어요. 근데 그 뭐야, 이 스킬 이미지만 봐도 역동적이죠. 꼭 한번 사용해보고 싶은. 중요한 건 이렇게 점프해서 공격하는 이동기스러운 스킬이 이 게임은 쿨타임이 없어요. 여기서 일단은 마음이 놓였어요. 이 게임 조금 밀어봐도 되겠다, 그런 각이 나왔죠. 디아4 봐. 이동기 진짜 그리고 라바 스로잉 샌드, 이건 뭔지 모르겠고, 용암 뭐 던지는 모래? 개소리하고 있어. 불 갑바. 그리고 스킬 이름이랑 이미지랑 졸라 멋있어요. 꼭 이 스킬 한번 써보고 싶구만. 마그마 스매시. 마그마 스매시. 그리고 킥 앤 히트, 발차기. 이건 차지. 이건 그거죠. 그 파워찹, 어깨빵. 그 양손 강타. 이거는 디스멤버먼트가 뭔지 모르겠어요. 디스멤버먼트. 그다음에 이게 뭐지? 비헤딩이 뭐죠? 아무튼 그 다음에 요겁니다. 요 휠윈드 스매시. 슬래시. 휠윈드 슬래시. 요겁니다. 요거. 조금 띠꺼운 게 뭐냐면 쿨다운 0.1 뭐죠? 휠윈드의 쿨타임은 말이 안 되는 소린데. 그 다음에 프렌지 스탠스, 광분 상태, 광분 스탠스. 이거지. 여기 보면은 또 잘해놓은 게, 광분 상태에 돌입하면 공격력 증가, 정확도 증가, 방어도 50% 감소. 이게 광전사지. 광전사의 기본 덕목, 방어도 깎이면서 데미지 졸라 세지는 거. 근데 공격 속도는 없냐? 생각해보니까. 그 다음에 프렌지 콤보. 여기에 이걸 쓰면 공격 속도 7.8, 이동 속도 48.2%. 여기서 또 이제 이 게임 끝까지 밀어봐도 되겠다 각이 나왔죠. 이동 속도 48.2% 6초간. 여기서 일단은 디아4의 속도감은 이미 이겼어요. 확인 안 해봐도. 지금 개 쪼렙이라서 지금 그 스매시나 쓰고 다녀야 돼. 가렌만 좋죠. 가렌은 근데 가렌의 최고봉은 평큐인데? 평타 옆으로 가로 베기 한 다음에 대가리 똑 따는 거. 가렌 좀 쳤습니다 저도. 가렌 큐 대가리 똑 따는 거. 그거 딱 맛이 있는데. 졸라 웃긴 게, 점프해서 있는 힘껏 내려치는데 베는 게 아니라 대가리 똑 따. 그게 너무 웃겨요 가렌. 왜 이렇게 아프냐? 제가 이 게임을 남몰래 밀어 올릴 건데 우리 워린드 스매시 한번 써가지고 올리겠습니다. 그렇죠. 근데 결국엔 이런 게임이 크래프팅 같은 게 잘 돼 있으면 재밌을 수밖에 없거든요. 개발자 스트리밍 이제 1시간도 안 남았네요. 뭐 어떡하라고? 스키야. 세이브 누굴 구하라는데 이걸 누르라고? 오케이. 몰랐지. 말씀을 하시지 그러셨어요. 그 트위치에서 볼 수 있는데 같이 볼 거거든요. 인정님 안녕하세요. 이제 6렙 됐구나. 같이 보시죠. 어차피 영어라 우리가 짱구를 한 곳에 모아야 됩니다. 영어 능력자시면은 필요 없으셔도 되겠다. 네네. 그거 하려고 오늘 휴방 해야 될 것 같아요. 저 PC가 진짜 큰일 날 것 같아요. 그리고 오, 외국살 났어요? 와우, 쉣. 고급 인력 오셨고. 이건 뭐야? 이건 소켓 달린 거야? 나도 광역기 쓰면서 다니고 싶다. 빨리. 아까 그 활쟁이, 외국인 활쟁이 하는 거 보니까는 와, 시원시원하던데. 결국에 이런 게임이 재밌으려면 진짜 크래프팅 이런 거 잘 돼 있고, 그리고 이제 뭐 꾸준히 즐길 만한 게 있어야 돼요. 디아처럼 그렇게 디아4처럼 진짜 만들다만 악몽 던전 단계 장난 그런 거 말고. 이야기를 하라고? 새로운 스킬 할 수 있겠다. 디스멤버먼트. 이게 뭔 말이죠? 디스멤버먼트가? 스텝 on enemy in front of you for 83 피지컬 데미지. 드로우 웨폰 increase accuracy rip wound effect. 립 와운드가 상처잖아. 레스트 인 피스 상처? 개 같은 소리 하고 있어. 요런 걸 해봐야겠다. 라바 스로잉 샌드 좋았어. 요거 한번 가보자. 오호 좋았어. 83뎀으로 찌른대요. 거기까지는 이제 저도 변형이 가능합니다. 네. 오 그렇지. 광역기 좋았고 요런 식으로다가 좋아. 제자리에서 못 쓰나? 쓸 수 있네.
이정님 구독 감사합니다.
구독 감사합니다. 제자리에서 이렇게 오호 오지마 졸렬딜 가능. 빨리 그 워린드 스매시를 쓰고 싶단 말이죠. 항상 근데 새로운 게임 할 때는 뭔가 좋아요 다. 저거 말 안 걸고 그냥 갈 뻔했죠? 조질 뻔했죠? 어디 계셨나요? 궁금하네 갑자기. 그냥 이거 물 빼고 와야 되는데 너무 많다. 템이 쓸데없는 거. 라이트닝 레지스턴스 레지스트 그리고 힘. TV에서나 보던데 계셨다니. 무조건 힘 몰빵. 그러게요. 갑자기 궁금해졌네. 지금 여기 요 UI 자체에 없는 거 보니까 UI 자체에 없는 거 보니까 저기 NPC 통해서 하겠죠? 아무래도. 나 일단 이거 라바 스로잉 샌드 이거 마음에 들었어요. 샥. 좋아. 아 근데 애들이 쳐맞을 때 그 이펙트가 조금 부실하구만. 게임이 이제 막 그 첫 비공개 베타 하는 거라서 어떻게 될지 모르겠어요. 출시되면은 해볼 만해요. 왜냐면 디아2랑 똑같거든요. 생긴 게. 이거는 세라프라는 게임입니다. 지금 클로즈 베타 하고 있어요. 제 지인하고 같이 해보려고 했는데 그 못하더라고요. 거기 관계자가 발급해주던가 아니면 크라우드 펀딩으로 투자를 한 사람한테만 열어주더라고요. 저는 이제 쉽게 말하면 숙제 같은 거 비슷한 제안이 와가지고 아 좋다 한번 해보겠다. 신작 게임이다. 신작 게임이라면 그래서 기회가 돼가지고 해보게 됐습니다. 이거 지금 보는 건 지금 극혐이에요. 근데 왜냐면 핵앤슬래시 게임에서 초반이 재밌는 게임은 솔직히 전 있을 수 없다고 생각하거든요. 왜냐면 너무 오 좋아. 일단 성능 좋으면 됐지 뭐. 왜냐면 게임 자체가 속도감이 이제 다 갖춰지면 나오는 그때부터 시작인 게임이니까 진짜로 딱. 와 이거 졸라 커. 오 이걸로만 간다. 국밥이다 이거. 딱 그 디아2에다가 리니지 입혀놓은 것 같아. 너무 말이 심한가? 아 너무 말 심하게 해서 죄송합니다. 심한 말 했다. 나도 모르게. 근데 이거 왜 못 주워? 왜 못 주워? 아 칸이 없어서? 오케이. 요즘 게임들은 다 이 아이템마다 다 그냥 똑같은 이 칸을 차지하잖아요? 공간을? 근데 맥댐이다. 근데 이 게임은 딱 디아2처럼 크기마다 차지하는 공간이 달라요. 아니 말씀을 그렇게 하시긴 하셨는데 이게 맞죠? 사실은 왜냐면 생각해봐요. 데이터 쪼가리 같잖아요. 너무. 오우샤 뭐 5줄이나 달려있어. 냉기 저항, 번개 저항, 화염 저항, 냉기 피해, 무기 냉기 피해, 언데드 피해. 이렇게네. 뭘 빼? 어큐리시 빼. 아 이거 버려버려. 불편한 건 사실 그렇죠. 뭐야? 왜? 아! 3,500 나왔네? 저 10분 있다 디아 포켜야 돼요. 거래하려면. 지금 3,500 나왔습니다. 3,500. 아 그러니까요. 참 가방이 따로 있어요. 이렇게 아뮬렛이 상급 아뮬렛을 쓰면 참 공간이 넓어지나봐. 왜냐면 여기 뭐야 이 락이 걸려있는 게 있으니까. 월드링은 또 뭔지 모르겠네. 이거 뭐야 이거. 아이 뭐야 이씨. 퀘스트 아이템이잖아. 그러니까 진짜 뇌피셜로 만약에 제가 지금부터 그냥 게임하면 재미없으니까 이 게임이 어떻게 됐으면 좋겠다라는 걸 뇌피셜로 그려보자면 약간 그런 게 있어요. 이 똑같이 이런 거미 하나 드랍이 됐으면 그냥 드랍 될 때부터 매직 아이템을 보여주지 말고 조금 그 상위 등급이 나올 확률이 높은 템은 그 예를 들자면 뭐 녹색깔, 진한 녹색깔 이거 있죠. 이거 지금 이거 퀘스트 템처럼 요런 진한 녹색깔로다가 칠해놓고 아이템을 깠을 때 레어나 유니크가 나올 확률이 높은 거야. 내가 직접 쪼는 맛을 느끼게 해주는 거지. 근데 그 템이 아니어도 유니크까지 나올 수 있는 확률이 있는 거야. 일반 템은 이런 색으로 해갖고. 그래서 녹색 템하고 하얀색 템만 존재하는 거지. 내가 그 감정했을 때 그 쪼는 맛을 따로 느끼는 거고. 그런 식으로 할 그 짱구가 없나봐 이 새끼들. 아. 얼마나 재밌겠어요 그러면. 그러니까요. 그러니까 스스로 봐봐 이 인벤토리에 링만 한 인벤 쫙 모아가지고 씨요 요거 싹 까면서 보는 거죠 또. 디아3 초기 때 생각나네. 디아3 초기 때 그 아이템을 링크를 해갖고 코드를 따면은 그 아이템이 미확인인 상태에서 그 아이템 옵션을 확인할 수 있었어요. 그래서 어떤 일이 있었냐면 디아3 때예요 진짜 딱. 근데 어떤 일이 있었냐면 아이템 코드를 깐 다음에 이 아이템 병신이다 싶으면 그걸 팔았었어요. 미확인 팝니다 이지랄 해갖고. 저는 저 이실직고 하겠습니다. 친구한테 팔았습니다. 지금 PC방에서 웰시스 얻어먹고 미리 까본 다음에 오. 아 타격감이 좀 너무 없다 이 자식들. 이거 일 열심히 해야 되겠구만. 게임 출시해갖고 사람 좀 모으려면. 개발자 스트리밍 약 40분 정도 남았습니다. 신단 무적이냐? 방패? 아 무적은 또 아니네. 그냥 디펜스 100% 증가. 디펜스 2배. 나 이거 개 좋아. 라바 스로잉 샌드. 용암 던지는 모래잖아. 뭔 소린지 모르겠고. 템 정리하고 와야겠다. 나 지금 여기 있고. 어차피 말 걸고 오라니까. 어떡하지? 오늘도 디아4 상점에서 4천만 골드 주웠네. 이게 웃긴게 제가 어떤 단축키를 입력해봐도 상점으로 바로 파는게 없어요. 이거는 일괄 판매 따로 있는거고. 이걸로 해볼까? 봐, 디아2가 이런 기능이 있었어봐. 얼마나 재밌겠어. 요렇게 스로잉 봐봐 재밌을 것 같은데 여기 이 게임. 이거 어떻게 그냥 사용하는 거야? 사용해서 그 일지 등록하는 거 같은 거구나. 몰라 나 뭔 소린지 모르니까. 오케이. 그리고 보석이 무기 라이트닝 데미지. 아니 전 궁금한 게 뭐냐면 왜 이 양키들이 만든 게임에서 라이트닝 데미지는 항상 미니멈 데미지가 졸라 낮고 1이고 맥시멈 데미지는 엄청 높을까? 왜 이게 국룰일까 항상? 조던님 안녕하세요. 저 이게 너무 궁금해요. 근데 이 게임 약간 틀을 그 틀 아닙니다. 틀을 좀 벗어난 게 있어요 지금 보니까. 이 봐봐요. 지금 보면 이게 딱 그 녹색이 누가 봐도 에메랄드잖아요. 근데 에메랄드에서 민첩이 아니야. 토파즈에서 민첩이에요. 노란색에서 민첩이 나왔어요. 덱스. 그리고 뭐 라이트닝 저항력 요거. 그다음에 루비. 당연히 불 데미지죠. 화염 데미지, 힘, 화염 저항. 그다음에 독 데미지. 예. 이것도 디아 2 마냥 독 데미지 뭐 3에서 4추가 이게 아니라 3초 동안 10 뭐 이지랄로 또 해놨구만 또. 착실히 잘 따라갔어. 이거 또 틀을 하나 깬 게 또 있어요. 아머랑 헬멧에 그 맥스 라이프를 늘려주는 게 얘네는 에메랄드에 있어요. 살짝 그다음에 다이아몬드. 무기는 언데드 피해. 이건 뭐야? 오 그러니까 뭐 갑바랑 헬멧에 끼면은 매찬이 붙네. 다이아몬드가. 그리고 방패랑 퀴버가 화살통이죠? 방패랑 화살통이 모든 저항. 오호. 그리고 아메시스트가 뭐죠? 이게 자수정이죠? 자수정이 무기에 끼면 정확도, 명중률이죠? 그 다음에 에너지는 뭐야? 이게 에너지? 아니 만화인데? 에너지라는 그 만화 관련 스탯인가봐요. 그 다음에 방패나 화살통엔 디펜스. 뭐 이렇게 돼 있고, 해골. 또 웃긴 게 끝났나? 40일까지 나왔네. 아직 거래 안 끝났어요. 2분 남았습니다. 무기는 적 처치 시 HP 리젠 플러스 1이에요. 근데 리젠이라고 써놨지만은 처치 시 바로 1이 차겠죠? 그리고 리스토어 8% 맥스 뭐야 MPN 2 HP. 네, 좀 특이해요 게임. 뭐 이거는 뭐 저 재생이겠죠. 재생. 방패나 화살통에 꼈을 때 리플렉티드 데미지 투 어택이면은 반사 데미지죠. 반사 데미지. 이건 사용 안 되는 거. 근데 이 게임을 진짜 못해도 일주일은 즐겨봐도 되겠다. 최소 진짜. 토끼공주라도. 그게 어디서 왔냐면 아이템 이미지를 되게 열심히 잘 만들어놨어요. 방패부터 시작해서 무기도 그렇고. 잠깐만 생각해보니까 이 반지 나 디아에서 봤는데? 똑같이 생겼잖아. 미친놈들이네. 여기다가 그 똥 색깔로 칠해놓고선 스톤 오브 조던이라고 하면 조던이잖아. 존나 똑같이 생겼네 이거. 선 넘네. 안돼요. 근데 말 조심해야 돼요. 지금 저 이거 그 프로모션으로 하는 건데. 아니 근데 저는 그런 생각이 있어요. 무슨 생각이냐면 좋고 잘 만들어 놓은 건 인용해도 문제가 안 생길 정도의 인용은 저는 필요하다고 생각해요. 무슨 뭐 디아블로 2에 뭐 특허권 제출하는 거 아니잖아. 그런 실제로 게임사가 있어요. 이거 TMI이긴 한데 5,000 골드 좋고. 오씨 뭐야 나 부자 됐어. 이건 뭐냐 이거? 데일리 소울 스피어. 뭐야 이게 스페어? 이게 뭔 소리야? 뭔지 모르겠고. 이건 나 뭔지 모르는데 2,000이 있네? 카오틱 스톤. 화중님 안녕하세요. 세라프 스피터. 이건 뭐야? 이거는 딱 봐도 그 캐시겠죠? 디아 2 마냥 그 서브 슬롯 있고. 자, 개발자 스트리밍 35분 남았습니다. 그리고 저는 거래 끝이에요. 뭐야? 거래. 아 얘네 더 붙여야 되겠다. 오케이. 나 선심 쓰는 척 하면서 시간 더 줘야 되겠다. 신난다. 오케이. is 파이널이라는 단어를 썼어. 원래 저런 말 안 써야 되는데. 레스트 오퍼라고 했는데도. 아 빨리 랩업 해갖고 그 월윈드 스매시 슬래시 한번 써보고 싶네. 그러면 아까 계셨던 저기 누구야 이정님은 저렇게 퀘스트창 방금 이상한 저거 봐도 뭔 말인지 다 아는 거예요? 한 번에 다 해석이 되면 얼마나 좋을까? 난 여기서부터 The cause has been realized. Thank you for your help, adventure. 이러면서 그렇구만. 고맙다는구만. 이러면서 하는데 얼마나 좋을까? 이 게임은 저게 신단이 젠이 되네. 가만히 있으니까. 이펙트에 비해서 너무 사운드가 조금 심심한 느낌? 신단 폭젠 장소 찾아서 그런 거 안 해도 될 것 같은데요. 이 게임은 몹 엄청 많이 나올 것 같은데 나중 되면. 그래서 아까 지금 벌써 쭉 달린 사람 있나 하고 사냥 장면 좀 볼라 그랬는데 없어가지고. 노비스. 아 이동기가 있었으면 좋겠어. 아 있긴 있어. 이거 샥 하면 그냥 순간 이동급으로 푹 가버리는데 이게 쿨타임이 있어요. 좋아. 좋아. 이게 지금 공격 속도 하나도 안 챙긴 애가 이 정도 속도 나오는 거면 나중에 막 프렌지 막 이런 거 하면은 공격 속도 막 무슨 50% 증가된다고 돼 있는데 얼마나 게임이 속도감이 있어질까. 핵앤슬래시 게임이 재밌어질 요구 조건은 돼 있어요. 얘. 존나 좋아. 사냥 속도는 개빨라졌어. 이 라바 스로잉 샌드 써버려가지고 라바 스로잉 샌드로다가 그냥 배틀 알터 노비스 오브? 마법봉? 데미지가 세진 거야? 와 공격력 200% 증가네? 근데 워낙에 족밥이라 200% 증가돼도 체감이 안 된다. 슉? 200% 증가된 라바 스루잉 샌드 어때? 경험치가 잘 안 오르는 것 같은데? 지금 내가 오버 파밍을 해버린 것 같은데? 오케이. 저 거래 좀 하겠습니다. 디아 켜서. 상점에서 오늘 4,200만 골드 주셨어요. 뭐야 실시간 뭔 점검? 점검 그 서버 안 닫고 하는 점검 있답니다. 이거 사이즈가 왜 이래? 음, 4,200만 골드짜리 반지는 뭘까? 좀 전에 방송에서 상점에서 주순 반지예요. 요겁니다. 극피 16.5, 취약피해 17.5, 부상적 피해 29.0. 근데 행운의 적중 6%. 아, 도도도님 어서 오십시오. 같이 보시죠. 제 어설픈 영어와 함께. 여기 그 영어 능력자분도 한 분 한 분 계십니다. 제가 좀 부족할 때 그 선생님께 여쭈면 됩니다. 이 사람 한국 사람 같은데. 성기? 이름이 성기. 아, 안성기 씨처럼. 성기 씨 어서 오시고. 아, 조현님 오셨어요? 제가 아까 방송이 터져가지고 죄송합니다. 4,200. 네, 달달합니다. 상점에서 60만에 사갖고 유저한테 4,200에 파는 거. 감사요. 네, 4,000이나 해요. 신기하시죠? 그 행운의 적중 6%라. 그러니까 이것도 조건이 몇 개 필요해요. 저렇게 행운의 적중처럼 높은 맥스 그런 게 있던가, 아니면 가장 중요한 조건. 아, 이거 저 번개 졸라게 치네, 저 세라프 저거. 잠시만요. 힘내자님 안녕하세요. 요렇게 요 아이템을 눈독 들이는 양키 두 명이 이렇게 레이스를 혼자 해야 돼요. 요 둘이서 이 반지 이거 저 극대화 피해도 16.5고 취약 피해도 17.5면은 각각 4.5% 빠지고 5% 6%나 빠지고, 그런데 나 형 좀 먼저 살게. 아, 그러세요 형님? 했으면은 제 그 3천 몇백만 골드는 안 써도 되는 거였어. 근데 질 수 없다. 아이템이 문제가 아니다. 나는 질 수 없다. 해갖고 4,200까지 간 겁니다. 이게 아이템을 비싸게 팔아먹을 조건입니다. 돈이 딸려서 죽겠는데 어디서 모아요? 아, 그러니까 이게 그거예요. 구매자가 많으면은 많은 곳에다 팔면 TO가 많으니까 팔려 나가는 거죠. 딴 이유가 없어요. 저 사람들이 아이템을 볼 줄 몰라서 저렇게 사가는 게 아니라 반대로 생각해야 돼요. 저 사람들이 한국 커뮤니티를 알고 있으면 굳이 저기서 템을 안 사겠죠. 한국인 미친 쌀먹충들이나 아니면 진짜 기계처럼 파밍하는 고인물들 템이 정말 좋은 가격에 올라온다라는 걸 알고 있으면 저기서 템을 안 살 수도 있겠죠. 물론 우리가 거기서 좋은 가격에 템 살 수 있어요라고 그런 고급 정보를 알려줄, 굳이 나서서 알려줄 그건 필요는 없는 거고. 그렇기 때문에 이렇게 영문판으로 하는 이 수고를 감수를 하는 겁니다. 힘내자님, 지금 방금 저 판 4,200에 판 저 템, 속삭임의 나무 마을이요? 예. 방금 4,200에 판 저 템 상점에서 이렇게 산 거예요. 이런 거 50만 골드짜리. 예. 그렇게 해서 번 겁니다. 사실상 지금 골드버리가 가장 쉬운 게, 해외 디스코드에서 거래하는 게 골드버리가 가장 쉬워요. 저 맨날 방송 키면 2억 골드 고정돼 있는데 이거 졸라 많이 썼어요. 저 어제의 2억과 오늘의 2억은 달라요. 지금 2억이었는데 방송에서 다 쓰고 그 다음에 거래 한두 개 해갖고 다시 2억 채워놓고 방송 키고 이랬어요. 제가 근데 제가 하나 확실하게 정말 제 명예를 걸고 말할 수 있는데 불알 두 짝 걸고 이거 팔아서 그 현금한 적 없습니다. 예, 이거는 제 명예를 걸고 말할 수 있어요. 없습니다의 명예를 걸었지만 앞으로 이걸 팔아서 치킨을 사 먹을 수도 있다라는 거에서 한 발자국 뺄게요. 네. 어쩔 수 없어. 아니 만약에 진짜 비싼 템은 몇십억도 가는데 몇십억짜리 팔면은 이거 저 뭐야 고유 떴으면 씨발 할배검인데 레어 떠가지고 골드 벌었는데 골드 쓸 데도 없는데 이거 어디다 써? 이 생각이지. 네. 없었습니다 아니에요. 그렇게 되면 제가 말을 할게요. 대충 둘러서라도. 대놓고는 말을 못 하겠죠. 그러면 안 되니까. 방송한다는 새끼가. 물론 그 쌀먹을 하시는 방송인이 있을 수 있으니까 또 말 조심해야겠지만 저는 참 반대도 아니고 중립적인 사람인데 만약에 게임을 진짜 좋아하는 사람이 시간이 없어요. 정말 나는 게임을 하고 싶은데 그러면 저는 그런 사람들 게임에 과금하는 거 그렇게 부정적으로 생각 안 해요. 그 정도의 열정이 있는 거니까. 그런 정도의 열정이 있는 사람들이 또 이렇게 방송인들 같은 방송하는 거에 와서 진짜 후원도 해주시고 그러거든요. 그런 분들이 보통. 그래서 제가 저도 한번 당첨되길 기다리고 있지만 개소리를 그만하겠습니다. 개소리 그만하려면 빨리 개발자 스트리밍 해야 되는데 아직도 23분 남았죠. 영문 버전으로 바꾸는 건 배틀넷 앱에서 게임을 끄고 배틀넷 앱에서 플레이 버튼 옆에 톱니바퀴를 누르시고 잉글리시 누르시면 돼요. 첫 번째 박스. 뭐 할 거 없나? 오케이. 할 거 생겼어. 도적이랑 강령술사로 상점이나 뒤적거려야지. 상점에서 4,200만 골드 주셨는데. 마법부여 2개 하게 해준 게임이요? 없었죠. 그렇게 되면 그게 없을 수밖에 없는 게 조금만 생각해보면 파밍 난이도가 너무 쉬워지니까 게임 컨텐츠 량이 진짜 미친듯이 줄어드는 거예요. 그렇게 2개 하게 해주면 만약에. 그래서 이론상 존재할 수 없는 느낌인 거죠. 마법부여 2개를 시켜줘 버리면 진짜 악몽 던전급. 이 새끼 번개 진짜 뒤지게 치네 이거. 제가 음소거하겠습니다. 죄송합니다. 게임 하나 더 켜놔서 세라프라는 게임을 하나 더 켜놔서 좀 전에 이 악몽 던전급 그 엔드 컨텐츠가 하나 더 있어야 되는 급일 거예요. 아마 하나 그런 식으로다가 이제 아이템이 수정이 가능해지면 그래야지 뭔가 이제 아구가 맞겠죠. 얘네들이 뭘 하기에. 안 그러면 템 하나 딱 끼자마자 그냥 더 이상 파밍 같은 걸 할 필요가 없어지면 게임에 재미가 없잖아요. 그러려면 한 6줄 정도는 돼야 돼. 6줄 아이템 옵션이. 그건 아니고요. 야매죠. 야매. 딱 중앙영어 수준입니다. 네. 여기 있는 옵션들은 이미 다 외우긴 했죠. 개발자들이 지금 개발자 스트리밍을 그래도 용감하게 번역을 하면서 봐보겠다라고 선언하는 거는 영어를 잘하기 때문이 아니라 얘네들이 물론 생활 영어는 아니죠. 그 게임 관련 용어들이. 근데 이거 찬스 투 슬로우 아니었으면 내가 썼는데 이거. 근데 결국에는 항상 사용해 왔던 것들을 또 사용하니까 익숙해진 용어들.
항상 경계하세요.
예를 들어 이뮨. 그러니까 마법 이뮨, 마법 면역이라는 말을 이뮨이라는 말을 실생활에 쓸 일이 뭐가 있겠어요, 영어가. 근데 우리는 마법 이뮨이라 그러면은 뭐 당연히 앞에 마법 이뮨이 들어가야 적절한 뭐 문장, 뭐 단어 이렇게 되겠죠. 그런 식으로다가 외워지는 거죠. 도도도도님 친추. 한국은 템 어디서 팔아요? 한국 디스코드가 또 따로 있습니다. 한번 볼까요? 간만에. 네, 한국 디스코드가 요건데 디아블로4 한국 통합 디코 해서 회원 수도 좀 많이 있는 것 같아요. 뭐 보니까 뭐 이벤트도 하고. 아유, 총상금 2천만 골드면은 조금 보면 뭐 아이템 거래 저도 이제 올려 보긴 했어요 한번. 근데 이게 왜 거래가 안 되냐면 인구가 별로 없어요. 이 사람들도 여기 그냥 올렸는데 결국에는 아씨 영어 씨발 하면서 구글 번역기 돌려가면서 여기로 갔을 거예요 결국에. 왜냐면 인구 차이가 너무 심해요. 이 영문 디코 여기 지금 보면 회원 수가 거의 40 몇만이 50만 다 돼갈 거예요. 그러다 보니까 여기 한국 디코는 한 많아야 10,000명 정도 되지 않을까요? 이거 회원 수 볼 수 있나 어디서? 그러다 보니까 좀 애매해요. 그리고 봐봐요. 이거 보면 오퍼 주세요. 이 한국인들은 그 거래할 때 좀 불편함이 있어요. 팜, 님삼 이게 요즘 유행어거든요. 예를 들어 반지가 있어요. 반지 팜, 님3 이게 유행어예요. 이거를 우리가 옛날에 잼민이 때 바람의 나라 하던 말로 바꿔보면 이거 팝니다. 님선, 선제요, 선제 이거예요. 봐봐요. 싸게 팝니다. 싸게 팝니다. 뜻 뭔지 알아요? 정확한 뜻? 국어적인 뜻? 빨리 팝니다예요. 빨리. 근데 이거를 그러니까 이분에게 얘기하는 게 아니에요. 이분에게 얘기하는 게 아니라 그냥 풀어 얘기하자면 싸게 팝니다는 빨리 존나 만족스러운 가격에 팝니다. 이 말이에요. 이거 그 정확하게 해석했죠 제가. 빠르게 만족스러운 가격에 아니면 안 팔 거고 팝니다. 이거예요. 그렇기 때문에 너무 어려워요. 여기 보면은 애들이 소통을 거의 안 해요. 이 외국 디스코드는 보면은 와가지고 자 이 디펜더라는 뜻은 요 이 아이템 이름이에요. 요 아이템 300 딱 이렇게 시작하면서 그냥 와가지고 그냥 400 또 지나가던 사람 와갖고 500 이러고 있잖아. 얼마나 편리해. 예? 선제요 이딴 거 견제 하나도 할 필요 없고 이런 차이가 있습니다. 그래서 뭐가 또 올라왔는데 시작됐나 본데? 이게 공지가 왜 떠? 16분 남았다고 지금. 이렇게 해서 내 거 리스트 보이면은 철권 스트리머들밖에 없는데. 저는 진짜 갑자기 할 필요 없는 양심 고백을 하자면 야구 동영상을 봤으면 봤지 역캠 같은 건 안 봅니다. 그래갖고 보면은 이제 철권 디아블로 종겜 와우 롤 검은 사막 철권 유희왕 마스터 듀얼 이 사람 누구지? 모르겠고 아무튼 15분 남았습니다. 좋은 템들 다 창고에 넣어놨는데 디코 들어서 판매 좀 해봐야겠네요. 오, 그러시죠. 판매 방법은 제가 영상으로 다뤄놨습니다. 이거 왜 나와 이게? 돌렸구나. 지금 심심하시면 잠 오시면 좋아요 한 번씩만 눌러주시면 참 감사드리겠습니다. 좋아요가 눌리면 몇 개가 눌렸는지 하는 그거 없어졌어요. 사람들이 가리는 게 아니라 없어졌습니다. 근데 저는 몇 개가 눌렸는지 눈으로 보여요. 제가 이렇게 언급을 한번 하잖아요. 그러면은 누군가 한 분 정도는 눌러주시더라고. 아직까지는 제가 한 분 한 분, 아직까지는 아니라 앞으로도 한 분 한 분 소중하니까. 아, 좋아요. 5개 됐다. 겁나 좋다. 위력 814, 취피, 뼈극피, 지능, 근거리 피해, 양손검. 그런 거 있으면은 저한테 링크 보내주세요. 제가 올려드릴게요. 지금 그런 저런 템은 좋은 템이니까. 물약 드랍, 근거리 피해 감소, 불타는 적에 대한 피해 감소, 원거리 피해 감소. 그렇죠. 이 첫 번째, 세 번째 옵션이 무효죠. 죄송합니다. 13분 남았네요. 아, 네, 알겠습니다. 부도도도님도 이거 보실 거죠? 개발자 스트리밍. 분 전 그냥 걸어놔. 아, 맞다. 그 뭐야, 도도도도님 뼈 강령, 뼈창 강령 두 번째 캐릭이세요? 영어라 이해 못 하시는 건 괜찮습니다. 제가 옆에서 안 되는 영어로 똥꼬쇼 하면서 해석해 드릴 겁니다. 구글 번역기 써가네. 잠깐만, 상점.
그럼 다음에 뵙겠습니다.
오늘 100일 찍으셨구나. 축하드립니다. 제 거 가이드 보셨나요?
가방이 꽉 찼어.
아, 이거 아까 다 봤지. 강령술사. 11분 남았습니다. 아, 정말요? 제 거 강령술사 대충 도는 거 보여드릴까요? 100렙? 저 템 그렇게 안 좋거든요? 무기도 3.5 옵션이고. 야, 해주겠죠. 그거는 걱정 안 하셔도 돼요. 걔네 진짜 졸라 열심히 만들어줘요. 실시간으로는 안 되겠지만 나중에 뭐 그 아세요? 디아블로 3 21시즌 할 때도 이나리우스 막 왔는가 네팔렌 막 이러면서 그 성우 고용해갖고 영상 졸라 열심히 만들었고 올려요. 61단 한번 해볼게요. 근데 100렙 인제되셨으니까 어쩔 수 없죠. 비슷한 단수 있나? 58단 이걸로 해볼게요. 이거 어딘지 모르겠네. 네, 걔네들은 진짜 졸라 열심히 만들어서 해줘요. 잠깐만, 있나? 그 디아블로 3 트레일러. 아이, 디아블로 유튜브 하는 사람들 영상만 뜨고 공식 여기 있다. 아이? 아닌데? 20 시즌은 또 안 뜨네. 그거 어디서 보더라? 디아블로3 오피셜 영어로 쳤는데 나오겠지? 지금 제가 확인하고 있으니까 걱정하지 마시고 9분 남았네요. 와, 이거 유튜브에서도 하네? 어디가 빨라? 유튜브가 더 빨라. 유튜브가 1초 빨라. 오케이. 제일 빠른 거로 화면 깔아 놓을 거니까 그 부분은 걱정하지 마시고요. 저 방송 시작 1초 전에 딱 맞출 겁니다. 맞아요. 도돈도돈님이 공감해 주시네. 바바리안 버프해라 이런 거 존나 올라와요. 양키들 김치맨들이랑 똑같아 하는지. 김치맨들도 이제 그 성숙한 김치맨들은 저런 거 안 하는데 덜 성숙하신 김치맨들이 그런 행위를 하시죠. 58단 이 정도. 왜 이래? 아이 미친. 요각 한번 보여드리려고 했는데. 뭐 이런 느낌도 듭니다.
준비가 안 돼.
요거 돌아도 시간 남을 거예요. 시간 확인 안 하셔도 됩니다. 들어가 안으로 인파이팅 모아 슛 600, 700만 이 정도? 오씨 너무 무섭고 저거는 한 방에 죽겠죠? 아무리 저단이어도 조용히 해. 틱 데미지가 700만이 뜬다는 건 이론상 최대 데미지는 4천만 정도 뜰 수 있다는 거예요. 이론상 최대 데미지. 물론 이 시체 촉수가 맞아야지 그 데미지가 뜨는 거죠. 시체 촉수를 맞은 상태에서 정수가 많은 상태일 때만. 보통 방당 데미지가 1, 2천만은 뜰 거예요. 이렇게 그냥 아예 아무것도 안 하고 때리는 애들은 뭐 한 6, 700만 정도 뜨겠죠? 아이 왜 저런 식으로 방금 따닥 들어간 데미지 500만이죠? 200. 그리고 단수를 높인다고 해서 그게 가능하다고 해서 그게 좋은 게 아닌 게 처치시 정수가 무시를 못하는 옵션이라서 단수를 굳이 이렇게 높일 필요가 없어요. 스펙에 맞게 가야죠. 이렇게 한두 방에 죽게 정해서 딱 찍어서 치면 이런 식으로다가 보호막 원이요? 그거는 시체 촉수를 써야 돼. 그거 안 그래도 제가 그 강령술사 실전 플레이 실전 압축 팁 영상 만들고 있습니다. 요런 거죠? 슉? 용? 없죠? 방금 시체 촉수로 땡겨다가 벽에다가 써가지고 뼈창 벽에다 날려갖고 한 방에 죽었죠? 쟤? 이것도 벽에다 툭? 두 방 한 대 버텼어 쟤. 요거 도는 거 끝나면은 개발자 스트리밍 시작할 것 같아요. 이거 또 나왔네요. 자, 봐봐요. 시체 있죠, 여기 밑에? 발 밑에? 기다려요, 천천히. 시체 써. 어디 갔어? 시체 없어. 요 잡졸한테 시체 요걸 딱 씁니다. 써가지고 슉 당겨지면 때려. 얘는 벽이 없어갖고 이제 한 3발 쏜 건데.
준비가 안 됐다.
아이, 야이. 강령술사 오우씨 뼈창 자체가 데미지가 세가지고 이게 지금 나오면 어떡해. 뭐야.
시간이 더 필요하겠다.
3분 남았어요 아직. 개발자 스트리밍. 방금 이제 제가 개발자 스트리밍 새로 고치면서 다시 본 거 그런 거죠. 중간에 누가 카톡 오면 한번 쓱 보고 그런 여유 그 느낌이라고 생각해 주시면 되고. 계산. 이거 지금 제가 세서 그렇다는 게 아니에요. 오해하시면 안 돼요. 강령술사 뼈창 강령술사가 좋아서 칭찬하는 중인 겁니다.
준비가 안 됐다.
슉? 한 방. 그러니까 왜 단수를 올리는 게 그렇게 좋은 게, 그러니까 중요한 게 아니냐면 애들이 빨리빨리 처치가 되면은 정수가 높잖아요. 항상 최대 정수를 많이 보유하고 있잖아요. 그렇게 되면은 아시죠? 최대 정수가 높을수록 딜이 올라가는 거? 잘못했다. 네, 금방금방 썰리니까요. 그러니까 뼈창을 그렇게 난사할 일이 없으니까. 이것도 끝거리에서 딱 두 방에 죽네. 3방 날렸는데. 자, 이제 개발자 스트리밍을 볼 시간이 왔습니다. 제가 방금 여기 이 던전에서 흑마노 요새 여기서 1억 4천짜리 양손건 먹었는데. 자, 이거를 어떻게 하면 될까? 트위치 뭐야? 왜 이래? 트위치는 시간이 안 나와 있고 유튜브는 왜 시간이 없어졌구나. 이제 곧 시작하려나 봐요. 잠깐만요. 이거 화면을 어떻게 잡아주는 게 좋을까? 유튜브로 갈게요. 유튜브가 화질이 더 좋으니까. 화면 좀 잡을게요. 이거 게임 꺼놓을게요. 게임을 지금 켜놓는 게 의미가 없어. 요거 요렇게 해서 죄송합니다. 잠깐 방송이 튕겼었어요. 죄송합니다. 금방 보여드릴게요. 네. 이 상태고 이거를 요렇게 잡아갖고 제가 화면 조정을 할게요. 잠만. 응? 왔어. Hello.
That's it. That's how you open. Hello.
I'm gonna do that every single time.
안녕하세요.
Hello.
Welcome to
요렇게 해놓겠습니다. 딱 좋죠?
Diablo
지금.
Developer Update Livestream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well,
Rod.
I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. Not he decided to insert himself as of yesterday. So
What is the power? If you have
저희
power, you should use it whenever
방송
possible.
채팅창도 봐야 되니까.
I've decided to. So
we have Rod here, who is of course the general manager of the Diablo
universe.
양을 번역
universe.
할게요.
Yeah.
Exactly. I guess that's the best way
All
to say it.
things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly. And of course we have Chris Liao
Lead UX designer on Immortal.
and Ryan Quinn.
일단은
senior narrative designer on Immortal.
프랜차이즈
So,
제너럴
we are
매니저.
actually starting off today's show
뭐라고
with
썼는지 모르겠네.
some Diablo Immortal
아무튼
conversations.
뭐
Also, I do want to mention
방구 좀
we've
끼는
been
친구들이에요
changing
이제
mics.
블리자드에서.
We've been joking around, and I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Rod calls them the Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson.
It's because I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing one
I
of them.
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
Disappointing. But he does have a really good impression of Britney Spears.
I am not doing it now.
Oh.
I am not doing it.
Okay, maybe we can get it out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during Q&A. Someone asked that question in Twitch chat. We'll make sure to bring that up during Q&A. And
Great.
there you go. You're just on the spot and you have to answer it. So
I think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
지금
But
중요한 게
one thing I
나오면
wanna
말을
recognize
할게요
is that,
제가.
like,
네 지금 하는 겁니다.
As a family of games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we don't always want to just be focused on just D4. We want, anytime there's something big or really interesting happening within Diablo, we want to be able to talk about it. You know, I could imagine we're going to have a season 29 conversation for Diablo 3 at some point in the future. So one of the things we're going to look at, do today was not just talk about, you know, we are definitely going to talk about season 1 on Diablo 4. And for some reason, Adam has structured this to be as tantric as possible. We'll get there, trust us, but it's going to take a minute. So, but what we really want to look at as well is
일단은 뭐 믿어 달랍니다.
we're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason. Before we
우리를
go into
믿어,
season one, we're gonna talk
친구야.
about, you know,
그런 말
what's going on
했어요.
with D4 today, because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And and then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal, because something pretty incredible is happening in Diablo Immortal, which is in nearly a decade we're having our first new Diablo character class is being revealed, and we wanted to reveal it here on this stream. So, you know, one of the great things about Blizzard is the SFD team, story and franchise, and Blizzard Video, and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how
지금
can we
끊기나요?
introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So,
뭐야,
without further
킥 S가
ado,
왜 나와?
may we present to you the new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal very, very soon.
뉴 디아블로 캐릭터가 왜 뭔 소리야? 오, 뭐 중요한 거 나올라나 봅니다. 오, 트레일러. 이거 프레임 떨어지는 거는 실제로 떨어지는 거예요. 제가 떨어지는 게 아니라 제 PC 송출이. 프레임 왜 이런지 모르겠습니다 지금. 오, 우와. 오, 아 이게 오, 얘 누구지? 촉수물. 오. 와우, 뭐야? 흑화했어? 우와. 심장 뚫었어. 와우. 어? 어? 뭐죠? 몬스터를 잡아서 정수를 캐는 그런 느낌이죠 지금? 어? 뭐야, 신규 클래스라고? 아니잖아. 이거 뭐야 이거? 뭔가 이상한데? 뭔가 이펙트가 이상하죠 뭔가? 이거 왜 리그 오브 레전드가 생각나는 이런 이펙트지? 적을 잡아서 영혼을 빨아먹는 그런 클래스인 것 같아요. 어? 아씨 개새끼들아. 디아블로 임모럴 당했습니다.
there we have it. The new class
개새끼들이.
coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal.
네, 뭔가 이상하다 했어 안
July
그래도.
13th. That's
July
like
13th.
a little over a week away.
Exactly.
이거 아니잖아 이거는.
Sounds like there might have been some insane issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
아, 저거
that
열심히
people are
만들고
talking
있긴
about
하구나.
There's a little bit of hitching on it and so forth. I will say that we
어.
actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog.
아 UM님이라고 할게요. UM님 안녕하세요. 실시간 번역
So people can actually check it out.
중요한 게 있으면은 트라이 해보겠습니다. 그 제가 아예 까먹는 까지는 아니고 딱 중앙 영어 수준인데 아직까지 중요한 게 없어요. 얘네들 노가리 까고 있는데 좀 전에 디아블로 이모탈 나와가지고 이모탈.
I think there's a lot of questions in regards to like the story and so forth behind the Blood Knight.
디아블로 이모탈.
Like,
We
give
are
us a little bit of
excited.
background regarding
이거 다 했어.
the Blood Knight itself.
Yeah, sure. So I think historically, when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6 very, very familiar, very stalwart classes that all of us
와이트챙 나오지.
love, that many of us have been playing for
와이트챙이랑 내적 친밀감
And
쌓였는데 많이.
It's great to kind of indulge in that nostalgia. It's great to get that dopamine hit of playing a classic. But after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity to do something that felt really new.
브이라이징.
To do a supernatural class that's kind of monstrous.
지금 아직
does things that are
아직 제가 중간에 오디오를 끊어도 되는 게 그 이모탈 얘기하고 있어요 지금.
And so we're really, really stoked about the opportunity to release the Blood Knight on everybody.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, everyone's kind of seeing the Blood Knight, and they're thinking, like, is this like vampiric in some sort of way, or like, how does this fit in with the actual lore within Diablo?
아직 쓸데없는 얘기 하고 있으니까 잠깐 얘기하는 건데. 블리자드 이 친구들 그 항상 그 뭔가 발표하거나 그럴 때 동양계 미국인을 좀 많이 내보내는 것 같아요. 좀 약간 친밀감 더 가질 수 있게 그렇게 일부러 하는 것 같아요. 지금 동양계 미국인이죠, 둘 다. 오른쪽. 아, 이영훈님 안녕하세요. 아, 이모탈 잘 만들긴 했어요. BM이 좀 너무 많이 가서 그렇지 잘 만들긴 했죠, 이모탈.
Curse of thraldom arrested inside them, frozen essentially in place. They get some advantages, but they get some.
아, 이거 역해 진짜 졸라 마음에 든다.
What do you mean the curse of turning into a thrall
역해.
is a drawback? in a way?
Well, their thraldom is essentially.
오, 역해
on
졸라 느낌 있어.
pause. So basically,
역해가
what
저 정도는
happens
돼야지.
is a blood knight, also preternaturally strong and fast, can see in the dark, can smell blood from a mile away, doesn't age anymore, as you've seen.
인마들 이거 그 왼쪽 가슴팍에 저기 매진가
And
뭐야?
so every morning, noon, and night, they're
아,
doing ablutions.
아직도
with this
이모탈
thing
얘기하고
to
있습니다.
hopefully continue to keep the darkness at
아,
bay.
아니구나.
You know, it's a process.
Right.
The ritual, it's hearsay. You know, it's been passed down for hundreds of years, and for basically every blood knight, you know, it may fail.
디아블로
at some
이모탈
point.
얘기
All
나와갖고
blood knights are doomed to one day succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's 1 day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
Could
they
be
don't
centuries,
know. Right.
right? They're very, very long lived. What they do know,
왜
and what
같이
they
하는지.
pledge on, is that they're going to use all of the time they have left to push back the darkness.
잠깐만 좀 잘리나?
And ultimately, for them, since that is such an uncertain question, it's really about their
어쩔 수
inner
없나?
sense of balance. Can I
죄송합니다.
do
어차피 지금
enough
쓸데없는 소리 하고
good
있어서.
Right.
to make up for the evil that will rise when I'm gone?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out because we had the art up there earlier, and that art is gorgeous looking. At the same time, they're very pretty.
영화관보다는 채팅이 안 나오니까.
They're so pretty.
4만 명 보고 있습니다. 유튜브만.
They're
그리고
very
트위치는
they're very like
9만 6천 명, 10몇만 명이 이걸 보고 있어요 지금. 디아블로 임모럴을.
like opposite
Well,
of what it
I
is.
mean, you mentioned
Umang
the
is
abomination. I think we saw the Blood Knight turn into this creature during that. So what actually is going on here? Like this is a, I guess Chris will talk eventually about like how an abomination comes to be. But this is basically them tapping into what's inside them to change form.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit. It's going to grant them extreme power in the short term.
This is the Bruce Banner
but-
Hulk thing.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little anime teardrop there of like, do I come back from this?
Right. Okay, got it.
Awesome. Well, I know with the Blood Knight, obviously like it's. new
블러드
class. How does
나잇이
it fit
타이틀인가 봐요.
into
이모탈.
from like a gameplay style? Like, what if you're playing at Blood Knight? What can you expect the style to be?
그리고
As
이모탈이-
a person that's actually jumping into Diablo.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight is actually a melee hybrid class, meaning
Blood
tons
Knight.
of up-close
피의
combat
밤.
with polearms.
그게
However, they have a host
확장팩
of
이름인가?
shadow
뭐
and
그런 거
abilities
같아요.
they can use,
그 이모탈.
manipulate the battlefield. in
존나
their favor.
일도 안 궁금하고. 근데
I think the drawback of Blood Knights might be that players that start playing it might feel that their mobility is limited. However, they have tons of legendary essences to help them improve the ability to close the gap on enemies, as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat sequences.
Got it. So like in combat more often, close combat, so they're essentially taking more damage, but then they have
이모탈입니다,
abilities
이모탈.
to actually essentially drain,
오.
as we can see, kind of like life from
오.
others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
This- the kebab attack, as I like to call
Yes,
it.
the skewer.
The skewer attack is my favorite thing.
이거를
right
근접
now.
전투
So
마법사
what's
느낌이구만.
happening there? We saw it in the trailer. We see it here as well. Is where they're basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around like as if on the end of a hammer. And so that's, you're like,
와,
it's like,
찍어가지고
basically that.
내쳐버리네.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
But it actually has a stun as
이거
well.
지금
right?
게임
It's
소리
not
안
just the
들리는
attack
거
of
얘네
one
의도한
thing that
거예요?
you skewer,
제가 한 게
it
아니라.
actually can
지네들
legendary.
씨부리려고 게임 소리 안
Yeah,
들려주고
so the
있어요.
Blood Knight stabs their polearm forward into the closest enemy, then swings overhead the enemy and slams it into the ground, stunning everyone in a small AoE.
오,
And there are also legendary essences.
요거
that
안개는 저
let you
다크에덴
run
그
forward
뱀파이어에서
or
그
actually leap
베껴왔구만,
to perform
병신들.
the slam.
Oh,
죄송합니다.
nice. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then I know like,
이모탈이에요,
of course,
이모탈.
with every
그
class,
블러드
they all
나이트라는
have, different ultimates
확장팩일지
and
아니면
their
대규모
primary
패치일지
attack
모르는
skills and so
타이틀,
forth. Like, what kind of,
새 타이틀에서 나오는 신규 클래스래요.
with the Blood Knight.
Yeah, I could talk a bit about the primary attacks. The first is
저
Ravage.
금방 마실 거 하나만 가져오겠습니다. 그 아직 본 게임 얘기는 시작 안. 오, 이젠 사운드 나온다.
Where they become a 5-hit combo with a stun at the end. And
Dual
the-
wielding pole arms. That's I like.
And the other primary attack they have is called Shadow's Edge. It's quite a unique one. It's the first in Immortal where the in melee range, the Blood Knight will do a slash, and for enemies that are further away, they'll actually throw the dagger forward. And there are legendary essences that add damage over time or make the dagger ricochet.
Nice. So you can essentially, it's good room clear type of abilities is what.
잘
I'm
만들긴
hearing.
했어요,
So if you got
보니까.
a ton of mobs in front of you,
오,
especially
궁극기요?
if the daggers are.
아, 뭐야,
ricocheting
궁극기
and
쓰고
you mentioned
자르면
piercing
어떻게
and
임마.
so forth with the ultimate and everything.
에이.
You can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So it's awesome to hear. I know, as you mentioned beforehand, tons of legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and
공포.
we're even seeing here, this is like the abomination that we were talking about
So
beforehand.
why would I want to become the abomination? What do I get from that?
뭐야.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the abomination a bit. The way it works is
지금
it is
프레임
a
드랍 그 방송
skill.
자체에서 저렇게 보이는 거예요.
The
제
defeating enemies
그거
to
아닙니다,
fill the
버퍼.
bar, much like your ultimate.
Right.
However, it happens much more
뭘
often,
보여주고 싶은 걸까?
and it then transforms your entire skill bar into a new primary attack, followed by two
변신.
specific skills, a blood rush where
변신하면
Blood Knight
아예
actually
그냥 아주 그냥
dashes
프로토타입
forward in a
그거 같구만.
ball of blood, and then there's a 3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit they fly into the air and slam the ground, stunning everyone on a stun.
모르겠다. 디아블로 이모탈 요즘 안 해갖고
Nice, that's awesome to see.
오픈
Yeah, I think
초기만
the,
해갖고
with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight itself, and there are like even other components. And
그거면
that are
쟤네 안 돼요.
coming with
그거는
update. Do you
그
guys
가능성이
have,
0%입니다. 왜냐면
additional information on
Well, there's ways to play it, right? Like
Yeah.
so the things that's really interesting. Like
왜냐면은
I mean,
그렇게
this is, I think
했다가는
having a new character class
주식이
on basically
씹창나요,
anniversary
씹창,
of
진짜로.
Immortal is really exciting. Like it's a great way to
얘네
celebrate
블리자드
1
주식
year that Immortal has been. It's hard to believe it's already been a year.
진짜 짐 싸야 돼요 다. 권고사직이에요 다.
So having a new character, but I've been like a whirlwind barbarian for a year now, and loving that. And so now I'm
이제
going
이
to
경험치가
obviously-
있기 때문에
one of the
얘네도
great things about Immortal is that you can class change. Like, so I can take my Paragon
어?
500
잠깐만요.
barbarian. I know
You
that.
can class change라 했는데? 클래스
I
체인지.
can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight, yes? Because there's basically
Yes.
3 ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year like myself, we have the new player, and we have the test driver, right, is the way to think about that. So maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, totally. So If you're brand new to Immortal and have never played before, you can play the Blood Knight right out of the gate, create a new character completely free, and start with the main story complete with custom Blood Knight BO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod who have been playing for a while and
메인 스토리가 끝나고 블러드 나이트의 다른 스토리를 또 할 수 있다는 것 같아요. 제가 틀렸으면 말씀 부탁드립니다.
I know it's a huge request that a lot of people are asking for.
웃기는
Yes, it's going to be great. And also players will be able to during the event
그러니까 그 약간 그거예요 지금.
Blood Knight,
롯데리아에서
one day cooldown, and also revert
어?
back instantly.
지금
So
오징어 링을
if
새로
you decide
출시했다
you
그
don't like
느낌이었다.
Blood Knight, you can revert
아 나 거기 햄버거 먹으러 갈 거야 병신들아. 이런 느낌? 예.
Nice, awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So, for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane,
디아블로 1, 2, 3, 4 이모탈이 있다면
Crimson Plane event.
저는 이모탈이 맨
I
마지막이 될
mean, I
거예요.
think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane. So maybe just what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh class, and so you're taking your character. Like I have a very specific build with very specific gear. But if I wanted to go play Fractured Plane, oh, you're barbarian. Here's some random skills. See how far you can get with this, and you build up your gear and stuff as you're playing through this roguelike experience. Yeah.
Exactly.
이거를 내 한국어로 해석해서 말하면
You've created Crimson Plane.
재밌는 게
A version of the same experience to go and test.
조금만 줄일게요 잠깐만. 재밌는 게 그러면은 50레벨을 달성하고 이런저런 장비를 끼고 스킬도 바꿔가면서 할 수 있군요 하면서 하하호호 하고 있는 거예요. 존나 웃기겠다.
And we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in the update. I know that
커마 아직도 이모탈입니다.
player that's coming in, of course, they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand, customize it, and it's completely free. And then, of course, any existing character can do class changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. But I know we have like a new legendary.
근데 이거
gem that's
채팅창
coming in
잠깐
the
보려고
second
이렇게
update,
해놨는데
as well. And then we
이렇게
even
할게요.
have just other like like items associated with this.
요게 제일
specific
낫겠다.
patch, that'll
이렇게
be hitting
해서
as well.
legendaries
이렇게 하는
for the
거.
Exactly.
too.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
뭐야?
we're actually going to be
잘못했어.
listing out every single legendary
The blog, yeah.
that is available for the Blood Knight on our blog.
딱
immediately
편하-
after the stream.
아니야, 안
So
편해.
you guys can check out the
다시.
cinematic trailer that we
죄송합니다.
showed off for the Blood Knight earlier
여기 딱
on that blog, and of
맞춰가지고.
course read all the details about what's coming in this update that is hitting on the 13th of July. So soon, it's crazy. So we
편안.
we're super stoked. The
위에
cinematic
여기
is,
살짝
I
나온 건
just wanna, like,
이해 좀
For people who
부탁드립니다.
didn't get to see it in full frame rate, you're
여기서
basically rubbing
채팅창을
the nose.
essentially, yeah, like
Go watch
you
it again, please.
see it in the Blizzard Cinematics team, amazing team. That cinematic is great. Nothing like seeing blood splattered all over some stained glass. It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog up there for people to check out. All the
Yeah,
details.
congratulations, guys, on the
Yep.
year. It's been an amazing year.
축하한대.
And I think people who maybe tried it at launch and haven't gone back to take a look at it, like basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to
Ferguson.
craft set items, the ability to take your duplicate legendaries and turn that into a currency so that you can make your current legend, stronger, and the way that you do dungeons now, like and the tower, the clan play, like there's just so much else going on.
로드
So
퍼거슨이
if you're
총괄
playing,
매니저죠,
you wanna
총괄
go check it
매니저.
out just to see all the changes. Like I said, there's been in a year. It's complete. To me, it's a completely different game in the sense of the different ways that you can approach the content, which is exciting. But hearing the fact that you fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I think it'll be exciting to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast. Absolutely killed it as the Blood Knight. It's just pure haughtiness and bloodlust and action all the way through. They've got some interesting takes on. I was going to say the name of the villain, our Act 3 villain in Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really
잠
been a
온다,
better time to
얘들아.
re-roll, to start a new run through the main story.
Awesome.
저 역해는 진짜 마음에 든다.
Thanks so much,
thank you.
Rod. We're stoked.
And we're gonna be now switching over to D4 content. We're actually gonna take like a really short break because we gotta swap people in. This room is only so big, and we
디아4
also
역해
need lights off for people
진짜
and
눈
everything,
썩는데.
But we're gonna be swapping in into our Diablo 4 segment. So we'll see you here in a minute or so.
아 처음 나왔어요 디아4 이야기. 본 게임인가? 가나? 오 일단 불길의 강이지. 그렇지. 오 징그럽네. 누군데? 일단 흑인 여성 대머리. 아 이거 본 거예요? 저 트레일러 잘 안 봐서 제대로. 여기 이나리우스잖아. 여기서 뭐 있겠죠 또? 예, 이나리우스 고블린. 일단 몰입하실 수 있게 조용히 있을게요.
May we fight true in His holy name. Blessed be the light.
와. 와꾸 좀 보자. 네네네. 이나리우스 저거 불 끄면 사실은 촉수물 아니야? 지금 일단은 이미 있는 거니까 얘기하자면 방금 발을 보여줬잖아요. 이나리우스 부츠 그리고 지금 던진 창 요런 거를 아이템 형성해서 만들면 바저씨들 난리 날 텐데. 일단 디아블로4 이거 지금 그 뭐야 저 픽셀 깨지는 거 제 송출 문제 아닙니다.
And we're
Okay.
back.
What happened to
That's
the
gonna be
awkward
my
hello?
intro.
You're supposed to go, hello.
That's gonna be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Wow.
So Tim is just gonna talk for the rest of
제가 아직 본 내용 안 들어가서 얘기하는 건데 얘네들도 그
Maybe you should actually introduce people.
영어를 못하는 플레이어들이 굉장히 많다라는 걸 알고 있기 때문에 그 눈으로 봐도 그냥 대충 보일 수 있게 그냥 숫자나 뭐 그림 형성해 놓은 걸 보여줄 거예요. 안 그래도 그래서 영어를 모른다고 보는 게 의미 없겠다라는 거는 생각은 안 하셔도 될 겁니다. 아.
And you said plural.
그리고 지금
Wait,
세 번째 자리
more than one
바뀌었어요. 사람.
There is more than one season. That's
아까 이빨 보이던 놈 집에 갔고.
Or that's job security right there.
I'm actually just asking for it.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security?
And we have
Oh,
a
yeah.
familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Pipora. I'm the associate game director for the live service. And
소개하고
we're
있고.
season 1 today, at last.
But first.
But
시즌
But first,
1.
that's right.
Because Adam has built
can't-
everything possible to talk about
start-
except the season.
You can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first. But there are cool things to actually talk about.
Correct. We, obviously it's been a little over a month since Diablo 4's launched.
It's only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you include
No,
like, early
but you're
access.
right. It is.
Yeah.
Like I always, the amount of feedback we get about like, hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been like 5 weeks. Like,
Exactly.
give us a second.
Exactly.
So
It has been a month, a little bit more than a month since Diablo 4 has
wait,
actually.
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
Oh, that's smart.
Sure, we actually released it.
We're extremely good at our job.
Wait, so you
I don't want to get in
started
the weeds,
before the
everybody.
game
I
launched?
don't want to get in the weeds, everybody, but like we did start before the game launched to make sure that we could actually release.
I thought you were just
something.
gonna say zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was,
Yeah,
oh my
obviously,
god.
that's what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My
no.
mic
Yeah,
is low.
so I don't know.
자세만 봐도 짬밥이 느껴진다.
Live broadcast, everyone.
I
Live
can
broadcast.
project everybody.
Yeah,
That's
he
what's
can-
going to
He
take.
can start screaming.
가운데 두 분은 왜 이렇게 긴장을 많이 했냐?
So you're talking about the 5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing, but anyway. So yes, it's been 5 weeks.
Obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between where we talked about even a big update that was coming before season.
업데이트 및 핫픽스 그리고 이제 캠프파이어 그 피드백 받은 내용들 정리한 거 있다고 합니다.
Maybe it was, but it still was very big. It was like
그런 것 같아요.
on the actual site. But we've addressed a lot of feedback and everything related to the game. We still have more feedback that we're actually going to be addressing. And I would
피드백을
say,
지금 주시해서
later this afternoon is gonna be another
말하고 있어요.
Climb patch, surprise, spoilers, or announcement.
놀라운 스포일러가 있답니다.
We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be patch notes posted this afternoon. Not as
깜짝
very
스포일러.
much not as chonky as 103, but it does address additional feedback and issues that people have been reporting over to us
You
in
got
actual
one?
patch notes.
Come on, put you on the spot.
Funny enough, I actually have this printed out.
I don't think you can say that 1.04 is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing in 1.04.
I know that they are actually doing a
뭐야,
gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide Chess, so that Helltide Chess will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance to drop unique items, but yes.
Sorry. Have a chance, not like a guarantee.
네, 지금 이 친구들이
And I'm just like,
그
That's
디아4 이미지가 너무 안 좋아졌잖아요. 막 LE도 너프하고 막 팩 사이즈 줄이고 그래갖고 피드백을 주시하고 있고 픽스도 많이 하고 있다 이런 걸 계속 얘기하는 것 같아요.
Rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
잠깐만 잘 들어야 돼.
But I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to like try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those Whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not Whisper caches, the tortured gifts.
유니크가
events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go.
유니크에 맞는 빌드를 구상할 수 있고 뭐 그런 얘기를 하고 있네요.
uniques can drop in.
That's right. That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yep, and I will say, like, we've been getting, like we've mentioned, I think,
더
many
들어봐야
times
될 것
already in
같아.
this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just like general gameplay feedback, and it's something that the team has been reading through. And
얘는
getting
계속
through.
피드백만 얘기하고
Those
있네,
are
얘는.
things that obviously we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like this is the thing I was making the joke about. They started before, like seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like we're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game out of stability. And so we're trying
중요한
to
내용을
be
적어야겠다.
as reactive as we can, but in a safe way, and knowing we have a large backlog of.
뭐야.
Well in flight,
Okay.
and season 2 is also very much well in flight.
시즌
And so
2
we're trying to
얘기를
make those
벌써 하고
adjustments. So we
있네.
hear the feedback. So please don't take the lack of instantaneous response as in we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about I want to lock my inventory. We hear you about all the different types of things that you're giving us feedback on, and we appreciate that feedback. And we're doing our best to address it as quickly and as safely as possible. So, so just trying to manage expectations that. Sometimes it might feel, but again, it's only been 5 weeks. This is a game that we are going to, we're going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end, and so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons, and through expansions and what have you. And so please just allow us some time to catch up and work through our backlog to get to those items that we know that you care about.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey guys, what a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find a more some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out, and people then know what to expect going forward when we do have different updates or different patches that actually do
Yeah,
the game.
I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
그러니까 지금 사실은 중요한 내용이 없어요. 뭐 앞으로 이렇게 만들 거고 저렇게 만들 거고 그냥 뭉뚱그려서 너무 얘기를 하니까 애들이 구체적으로 얘기하는 게 없고.
Trailer to show off before we jump into it. So hit it, Rich and Matt.
오케이. 이거 처음 보는 거죠? 딱 봐도.
I am writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague. To rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them. But I cannot do this alone. My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling. The malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
시즌 오브 더 말리간트가 뭐예요? 7월 20일
And there we have it.
7월 20, 23일 뭔 소리야?
Coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, a lot of people want to know what's going on. We even teased it on social media yesterday, where
7월 20, 23이 뭔 소리야 이게?
Corrupting Sanctuary.
말리강트?
Yeah, no, okay. So,
23년 맞네요.
So season
7월
1
20일
is
맞죠?
the season of the Malignant. So our very first
말리강트라 그러는데?
is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary. Kind of step off from that point. And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's this malignance, there's this corruption that's begun to spread throughout like the hearts of the creatures throughout the world, and that's everything from like
오염된 세계래요?
to humans, to demons themselves, everything in between can be corrupted by this malignance as beginning to take root and fester inside inside people.
뭐 자꾸 오염됐대.
It's changing them. Right, it's turning into these bloodthirsty fiends.
세계관 설명하고 있는 거 맞죠 지금?
It's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season.
이정님 계셨구나. 이정님이 그 네이티브십니다. 네이티브.
Cormand is
그쵸?
Cormand is an ex member of the Cathedral of Light. He used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light, and he's taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these
그죠, 이게 주 컨텐츠죠.
following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign.
메인 캠페인.
But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth you say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormand?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and
아,
then
동현님 안녕하세요.
not 100% successful. He comes to players.
플레이.
Hey, you were really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you? So that's kind of where.
NPC겠죠?
Very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right? But he's a great new character the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. You know, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad, and they're going to gain access to like that, like the beginning of the story of the season, pretty much right away. You know, so you're able to start off right at level 1, like jumping out of the gate, and be able to start like following the thread of this new season storyline.
And we're going to talk about the transition from
새로운 시즌에
Eternal Realm
맞는 캠페인과 스토리라인이 존재한다 뭐 이런 말 맞죠?
Yeah. Well, then when I know people are really
네,
curious
그렇죠.
about what happens to my current character, how do I think about that transition? But we'll get to that after we get through the season details.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that's the kind of like the high level like what's happening in the
That's
world
the
Sanctuary.
theme, right?
That's the
So we
theme,
have a
yeah.
seasonal theme with the
네.
but like what about the mechanic? On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can build your character in a different way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster.
야만.
That malignant version is going
도약.
to have these growths on it, and
선망.
some additional power. After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, the exposed malignant heart that was causing this.
새로 업적 같은 것도 추가되네요.
A cage of binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in, and a new, even more powerful version of that elite is spawned.
Yep.
Why would you want this? How does this help you? Well, if you can manage to beat that even more powerful version where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures, now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power.
맞아요. 새로운
Think
업적
of
같은
a
거.
legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take
말리근
these
옵션
malignant
가지고
hearts, you can
정해목들이
socket them into your
나오는데
jewelry, and that
아,
gives you these kind
그거
of
못 들었어요.
stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced, hopefully, but they are extremely powerful. So these are new options of how you can play the game.
Yeah, so this is really, really cool, right? So one of the things we really want to do with each season, to Tim's point, is we want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a Malignant Heart that you've managed to collect from one of the consumed that you managed to kill, one of these super malignant creatures that you've
훨씬 강한 엘리트와 장비.
socket them into your gear. We have 32 new
위력이 풀린다고 해석할 수 있겠죠? 오! 이거네요? 잠깐만. 케이지드 하트 오브 더 피카나 저거는 고유명사고 크리티컬 스트라이크
electrically charge creatures for a set amount of damage.
껴봐.
So these like there's a lot of really powerful things.
눌러 새끼야. 그렇지.
That you'd be able to kind of like interact with over the course of time.
오.
But each of the malignant hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So you have like brutal hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go in infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the malignant of a matching color. So when you're hunting for when you're finding new amulets and rings or gambling at the like the Opal's vendor, whatever it is you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a unique ring from the new Helltide chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do. But what's interesting, like with the So there's 3 different types of color sockets, yes?
There's 3 different types of colored sockets, but there's 4 different types of malignant hearts.
Go on.
Well, okay,
심장을
so the last malignant
얻어가지고
heart is
바로
called,
그
basically a
심장 자체에 옵션이 있어버리는
malignant heart type. They're very, very
거네요.
rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go. And you kind of want a combination.
근데 일렉트리컬리 차지가 뭐야?
Yeah, the Wrathfuls are pretty strong. You're really only looking to probably have like.
그러니까 뭔 뜻인지 모르. 아, 뭐야 이거?
You know, over the
아,
so it's fun,
말리그넌트 심장을 착용 가능한 홈이 따로 있네요.
different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're going to unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into these.
But you're looking for the. So can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, you know, a piece of jewelry?
Yeah.
Are they able to add colored sockets, or are those only
So you can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket when the season of Malignant starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not like, you couldn't get like just a regular jewel socket
But
anymore.
even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah,
So
it'll
you
always
can
be
do
an
that,
infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's true for unique. So if I'm looking for a unique, I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So
아,
There might be
multiple versions of the unique.
아니 유니크템이
Yeah. So yeah, fun new stuff to look forward to, and that's just, I mean, that's
소켓이
you
다
showed the
다르다고?
player, like the player
맞아요?
fighting
이거?
creature. You know, there's a chance for, as Tim pointed out, like there's a chance for all kinds of elites out there in the world to be malignant in nature,
Right.
which makes them a little bit more powerful. But then when you kill them and you go and you actually use the Cage of Binding to capture their heart, then you fight that super concern that
심장을
like,
수집해서.
that's gonna be like buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger like combat in that
Right.
scene. There's more to look forward to, and those get tougher and tougher. And you want to fight higher and higher level versions of those in higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into the game, and you might be thinking like, okay, does that mean like the old, like the crappy hearts that I got? You can actually break those down at the crafter as well to get a
그러니까
crafting
이제-
material out of them that allows you to craft new items, including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit further on once you
인보커가 뭐죠? 인보커?
of season 1.
도와주세요,
You will
선생님.
unlock the
인보커가
ability
뭐죠?
to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel. So if you are
By the way,
trying to
that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Okay.
There we go.
그러니까 지금 아직 NPC를 통해서
When you're over 50,
This is-
you should know
이
that.
And this is
심장 홈을 뚫을 수 있나 그걸 안 밝혀졌어요 지금.
You should get yourself checked out.
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say malignant tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I want to.
NPC나 어떤 뭐 특정 루트를 통해
random chance on elites out in the world.
홈을 조정할 수 있나? 그걸 몰라요. 그거.
Malignant tunnels. So there are actually places across the world where the malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically.
아, 쟤네 말소리 좀 더 키우겠습니다. 알겠습니다.
You can hunt down these tunnels.
Yep.
요 정도면
and go in,
괜찮나요?
Hey, there are more malignant there, so there's a higher chance of finding malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really need a very specific type of malignant heart. How do I make that even more likely? That's when you take your crafted invoker, you go all the way to
인보커
the end
하잖아요.
of the
인보커가
malignant tunnel, and you can use it.
몬스터 처음 보는 아니구나.
Use it on that outgrowth, it now spawns that specific type of malignant that's going to have the color associated with it of the heart you're trying to find. You kill that, and you're going to get the specific heart. So there's a little bit more targeted farming you can do as you approach the end game of season 1.
Actually, I have like, go to the C video.
네, 원래 되는
it'll
거예요,
show you
그거는.
going into an evoker event where you can go in and sort of, which I've heard called the turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an evoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes.
이거 처음 보는 거죠?
Like art
미니맵 보세요,
direction,
미니맵.
but yeah, that's where we ended up.
So yeah, at the end of these malignant tunnels, you're going to find that
Brutal
there are these
outgrowth.
these masses of malignants that you're going to be able to go and interact with, and each of the
That's the
tunnels
one we
has
wanna watch.
a few different ones that can potentially spawn different colors of malignant outgrowths that can spawn from those. So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out,
지금
like,
중요한
certain
건-
kinds of malignant hearts as the player is progressing through the experience.
그러게요.
Yeah.
So why don't we show,
중요한
like,
건
you
전마가 아까
just showing-
4렙이었나 그랬는데 지금 9렙에
Technical
Yeah, show the
issue.
one you were just showing. 'cause
저걸
that was the
보여줬어요.
evoker event. So basically, there's a growth. It gets
이제
you
9렙이죠,
into the
9렙?
tunnel. There's a. You're able to basically, essentially, you're requesting a monster of a particular.
브루탈
color.
말리간트.
Saying, like, I want a blue
말리그넌트.
heart. a chance to get a blue heart by trying to defeat the blue monster. Yes.
That's right. And some of these, are, like particularly later on in the experience,
Whoa,
the most powerful hearts you can get are going to be delivered from things like these invoker encounters. Right. Go and interact with. So, yeah. Super excited about
So basically, they use an invoker on this.
아, 선택하는 거야?
One of the pods.
That's right. Yeah. The outgrowths from this malignant mass.
Which then creates a blue monster.
선택해서 정예를 뽑습니다.
You have to take that down, which will then. So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill the harder thing?
Yeah. When this thing pops up, after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah. So you don't have to do the 1-2. Right?
That's right.
Got it. So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now. I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want. Because maybe my build, I know I want a brutal heart, but I haven't running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Rogers called it out.
And I know.
That's all I'm here to do is summarize.
That's good.
He's like, I will take everything you said, summarize it into 2 sentences. And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there are like new, like a new boss and so forth associated
there's new, but
with
we're
it.
not really talking about
we're not that redacted, but yes,
it's worth calling out.
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season. There are new legendary items for players to collect this season.
Correct.
There's our legendary powers, I should say, for players to collect. There's new unique items for players to collect.
Now those new unique legendaries and the unique uniques. Thanks for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the eternal?
That's right.
아, 새 복수의 종 벌써 나왔어요.
So if you're a player who's like really trying to continue to progress your character in the eternal realm, there's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Yeah.
So you probably saw before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic, it was awesome. And we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming to you that is going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items.
So July 18th is actually anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm is there right away. If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters or a new Eternal character if you want, July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to you on the Eternal Realm, as well as any other improvements, balance changes, rewards changes that we've made. Those will be there right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on. You can now create seasonal characters.
The thing is, like going back to managing
우리는
expectations,
20일에 시작할 수 있는
trying to be
거.
really clear about it with seasons is that it is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about the Anarius Lilith journey. It's not extending that story. It's sort of a side story inside the open world.
It just takes place after the events.
스탠다드도 할 수 있다 해놨으니까.
Self-contained story within the season of the Malignant, which is great because it just gives us it affords us a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and to create like these new big features that kind of go along with that and support it.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you
would be really...
You want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you. We went from golf to
golf to t-ball really fast, no, absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1 where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over it now.
뭐예요?
No top secret.
시즌 패스
This is the battle pass
얘기하나 봐요,
introducing as part of season 1, and then going into here, you'll see the season journey.
뭐야?
And again,
아니다. 이거 시즌 여정 위상 주는 거네. 템 주는 거.
And each of those chapters has a number of objectives inside each of them in order to.
디아 3에도 있었던 시즌 여정이에요.
You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. So I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. Also for your chapter completion moments, you're getting
쓸 수 있는 템이 들어있는 거예요.
It's going to be used like an experience point value for your battle pass. But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects ones that you
이게
can't
어디다
normally get
치워놓을
through the
데
Codex
없나,
of Power, through like dungeon completion, and also many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect
좀
that
잘안
through your
보여도
Codex of Power by going to the season journey. So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I love this. Like, one of the things that's hard about, for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels
이거
really
룩달
I love
그
it.
시즌 패스 아니에요.
The
그냥 시즌
notion around,
여정이에요.
like,
그냥 이거.
I like the fact that the subset aspect of it, because I know there are certain things. I'll pick a stupid example. It's like maybe I hate sellers for some reason. I'm a seller hater, and so I never want to complete a seller. Then the fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below, I think that's great, because that's like, I find you get into situations. I have other games where they're like, you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress, and the fact that I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear. It's one of the things we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters instead of the season. But we don't, and we want to include that
Which
in
is
the
the
season
PvP
journey,
fields, yeah.
which is the PvP content in the game. But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do this content in order to progress your season journey. We want to give players the option to do this if they choose.
One thing I do want to call out here as well with the season journey, and I think you're going to call it out in some other places, is that it can be confusing to players initially that you go to this Battle Pass screen, you click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the Battle Pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with.
감사합니다.
Actually, everybody has access to the Battle Pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the Battle Pass. You're getting free stuff.
In the seasonal realm.
In the seasonal realm, yes. Rod has always reminded me to say that. Like, in the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists there. There's no battle pass if you're not in the season.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, that's essentially the way the season journey works. Those final objectives, those final chapters are really, really tough to complete. You can get some like special like cosmetics, like special like title and things at towards the end of that path. So we're excited to see players like engage with it and for us to continue to support it in future seasons.
And so we saw that the season journey grants you a lot of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff. And
That's right. Anything that's like killing monsters, completing like.
그러니까 시즌 패스가 아니에요.
Like all these things.
그 시즌 여정
as you kind of
말이 달라요. 그 기가 3 때 있던 거라. 지금 이거는 시즌 패스가 맞아요.
If you have never played the campaign yet, like you're about to buy the game for the first time with the season, for example.
Right.
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a season character and play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff, and I'm still earning favor. Like this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right?
That's absolutely correct.
I just won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign. But a lot of those, and you can also progress your season journey, but some of those objectives might require you to go and interact with season features that aren't available until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about. I know we're going to talk about the transition later.
보석이나 위상 주는 거는 무료 패스에 있을
getting
거
access
같고
to the mechanic, the idea of talking to
룩달은
capturing malignant hearts, having
과금 패스에 있을 것 같아요.
socket or jewelry with colored sockets.
맞아요,
that stuff
맞아요.
all
지금.
takes place post campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
무료 패스에 있을 것 같습니다.
Yeah, you won't
무료
fight
패스.
malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign
Right,
on the seasonal realm, but you will shortly thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in. You can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive right into the seasonal story and content immediately.
And that's forevermore. That's one thing we tried to say is that once you complete the campaign on one character on your account,
one character, one
for every
time.
season moving forward, for any character you create moving forward, you can skip campaign and start off in Kyovashad level 1 off. Well,
원래 있는 얘기.
You know,
not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the
Foreshadowing.
only thing that we can be doing to prepare
well,
for
we should
season
get to
one?
we should get to the battle pass. So the favor, so you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
Because you're playing the game, because you're doing your season journey objectives, you're getting even
and
more.
I was going to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives, and so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass. Whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass, or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So can we go back to the screen because I think it's one of the things.
뭐야. 이거
part of the thing is kind of a,
얘네 잘못이에요. 얘네 잘못. 오디오.
Why would I want to complete the battle pass? one of the reasons you would want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this.
Yeah.
And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing. And so, did you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah,
some of the stuff?
one of the things that's really
어느
cool
나라
about a
감성이야.
lot of the items in the battle pass, there are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go chase for different classes.
Oh.
And we have even things like the like what we're showing off here, like the Artisan's Tunic. We have
아니,
some things
이게
like
유료라고?
this is actually one of our free cosmetics. Actually, is this
Ah!
things that are like a little bit
씨.
lower fantasy that you can use to kind of like
보이신데.
role play different kind of themes out for your characters. Just give you more options. And we have like our bigger stuff like this. Like this is like the
뚝배기
Loki
느낌
and
있어요.
Goliath stuff is like some of like the like real chase armor
티어
cosmetics that
89
exist at
리거든.
the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that, like, if you notice either the role-playing armor, like the artisan
오,
tunic,
이것도-
or
아, 네.
the helmet, is that one of the big things about the battle pass is that unlike the shop, the battle pass, all of the cosmetics are class agnostic. So we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a necromancer, and those sorts of things. And that's one of the nice things about the battle pass is everything you're earning on the battle pass, class agnostic.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes
can only
equip
use
certain
specific,
weapons.
yeah.
So if your class can equip that weapon, then you have access to it. Just to reinforce, I think it was already expressed, but there are lots of free things on the battle pass. If you pay to upgrade it to the premium battle pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things.
Yeah.
So the only thing you're getting access to by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really, really cool stuff, some on the early end, and then especially on the tail end of it, that's what you're buying into. But the free version...
Keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
Okay. The free version
I know where I want to go after you.
아니 근데 지금 얘기하는 게 다 이미 알고 있는 내용이에요. 다 얘네들이 얘기했었던 내용.
Well, that's what they're saying with the free side. Like, so we were saying there's 27 free tiers in the battle pass, and part of those 27 free tiers are smoldering ashes that you can get based on the level you are in the game and that you've progressed with favor. And what do those smoldering ashes get you?
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect in the battle pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the battle pass. You have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like, they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system.
Right.
And here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the player's collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give all of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of like this advantage really carry through. So whether that is like bonus to like XP earned from monster kills, like we call out here, or things like boosting the duration of all elixirs that you're using over the course of the season.
Right, and you can looks like. I'm assuming that, I
시즌
don't know if it's linear or
축복에
not, but if I would assume it was linear,
드랍률 관련이
I can do it 4
있네.
times at 15%, so like 60% duration.
드랍률.
In terms of that particular, the earner prolonging.
That's right.
비약 지속
We wanna make
시간.
this just be an extra little fun little thing for players to chase as they're going through the season to kind of help them like boost their characters up a little bit more quickly. as they
레어
kind of
메테리어
deeper
프롬
and deeper into progression through the
셀베이지가
season
뭐죠?
and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my smoldering ashes, there like earner prolonging is where I want to invest my smoldering ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a
상인
50-minute
할인
elixir.
골드
So getting that 5%
드랍 준다.
XP boost. Maybe for me, it's the
경험치
extra 200 thorns and the 200 armor. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, and give you boosts like get more opportunities to earn like the or better million heart drops that can occur for you as you're playing.
And these are available to everyone because who's in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
Yes.
And they are limited based on. They're also limited based on level of the player, so that even if someone were to use tier skips, even though they might get to the tier that says free smoldering ashes, it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is I think it's tier 8.
분해제로 메테리얼.
Yeah, it has a level 40 character requirement as an example. Just to make it really, really clear, like you will be able to use this in time, but immediately, like you need to continue to progress your character and like continue to level up, and then you'll be able to use that accordingly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of do my little summary thing. So
말씀드렸던 심장 드랍률 증가는 좀
what we said,
충격적인데.
so we have a seasonal theme of the malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry. We use that to complete our season's journey. Our season journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor we're then putting into the battle pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and our tier in the battle pass, we'll get smoldering ashes. We can use those smoldering ashes to apply a season's blessing, which allows us to use those urns and get sort of perks for during just this season that we've unlocked.
That's correct.
So the free person's experience, You never want to pay a cent. You are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free unlocks on the battle pass. So this is kind of an
무료예요?
increase in power for
okay.
everybody. And then if you want to spend money just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics. And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool. They don't actually cause things to light on fire.
It's just reinforcing what we had talked about before, like even before launch and so forth, is that the battle pass itself, anything that if you do pay for a battle pass, all the paid items are going to be cosmetics.
게임에 영향을 주는 거를 유료로
And if
안
you bought the
넣겠다고.
deluxe or the ultimate edition, you already will have a ability to make that a premium battle pass. It still doesn't. So that's great for them. So then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like, one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about is, hey, I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my renown objectives. I've got full everything. And now I hear, oh, I have to re-roll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but it definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've explored on their characters in each of the zones, like the Fractured Peaks and Scotsland and such. All of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the exploration.
So can we bring up the screen? So
Yeah,
basically where we
Well,
see
okay.
areas
이거
discovered.
위상?
Let's say I've
위상이
actually, okay, we'll say this is this person.
Yeah.
So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Right.
So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas clear inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. And it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your partner account as
So
well.
the same thing here. So I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have 120 renown in the bank with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim when I fire up the season.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with, and like if you look at like all the renown you can collect from discovering all of the areas and from getting all of your altars of Lilith, is going to get you in each of the zones, basically through the first 2 tiers and a little bit away through the 3rd tier for each of the zones for renown. So you get to start with, like if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level 1, you'll have 5 skill points and 9 potions ready to go.
Absolutely. You just claim those things down.
지금 했던 말 하는 거예요.
And your map reveal.
And your map
And
reveal.
your map reveal.
So that goes back to what Tim was
먹었으니까.
teeing up earlier. When we think about, hey, I'm excited about the season, I want to prepare for it. I've got, what is it? It's the 6th today?
Today's the 6th.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have 14 days.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2 weeks? And so one was, I better get the campaign done because I really want to
complete the campaign.
fight the malignant. But now, like, if you had places to go to, like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry into the season.
Yeah, all that stuff will carry over with you.
Okay, so then, Tim, how do I think about
2주 동안 조져놔라 이런
I've
소리죠.
got 5, 6 alts, my characters right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on how do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Tim, tell us.
It's a great question. For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch goes live. You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars and cleared all the fog of war, awesome. You just have to log in with that person. When you log in with that character, all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in Seasons will now have all of that progress. So you have to do it once, but after you've done that, it is now saved to your account. And just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast, because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a lot of extra power.
It will accelerate you a little bit as you start.
And because that is a big caveat, like, we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be, like, literally screaming from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on that come out for the patch on the 18th, just to remind people that, yes, log into your characters beforehand. Even if you log in, like, if you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well, that's that's the two things we should, because there'll probably be questions, but one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation. I'm not playing. I come back. The season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character.
이거 패스오백자에서 하는 얘기죠?
The season, yes.
Yes.
Even after the
시즌
season.
때
So it's not
돌아오고
like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
복귀해서
Yeah, it's there
하고
forever.
뭐
Functionally,
이지랄하는
from
거
this point forward, anytime you
때도
ever
하던
log
말이
in on a
이렇게
character, it will just check, like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like, for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble bragging.
Absolutely.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
So
this.
let's talk about how good my Necromancer is. No, but all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So
혹시
after the 18th, when I log in my Necro,
시즌은 캐릭터 수로
and
따로 있는지
all that
얘기해주면
progress
그거
gets
좀
to my account.
들어서
When I go to
알려주세요.
When I go to
뭐야,
log in
뭐야,
my Sork next, even on the Eternal Realm, my Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro
Correct.
has.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
And let's say, like, just to dive really deep into this. So let's say that you've got,
I know,
you've got 2 different
we
characters.
should do some sort of
You've
dev
got-
stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got, like, 2 characters you play. Like, one has done everything in the Fractured Peaks, has uncovered everything in the Fractured Peaks, and has uncovered, like, all the alts with level both. You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked, like, all the field, the Fog of War, has found all the alts Lilith. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peaks characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an
It's not just like, yeah, it's and. It's not like the one account that has the most stuff and then I want to log in that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have, like, tons of progress if they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think that just again, hey, let's talk about managing expectations. Some
저번
of you
방송 때
might be
했던
saying,
얘기를
like,
하고
wow,
있어요.
that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars of Lilith. You would have to go clear the Fog of War. Like, the original plan when launching the game, or prior to launching the game, the original plan that there was no transition of state from the Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm as part of this. And so hearing the player feedback as we talked about seasons and hearing the response that we got about what, I have to find all the altars again, what, I have to clear the map again, and wanting to make sure that we were listening to the players, we put in a system that allowed us to do that, but it is not the most smoothest, most sophisticated, because we were doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Hey, did you want it done? Did you want it done? The answer is yes.
I'm just saying, like, that wasn't the design from the start was not to do this, log in a character on the 18th and make it happen.
Yeah.
That's what we had to do to make it happen for season 1.
And this was based off of, obviously player feedback that we've gotten since launch. So this is us implementing it quickly to address, the feedback that you guys have been giving. And then on top of that, I like a huge shout out to our engineers for getting this all implemented before we actually jump into the season.
Much like the Nightmare Dungeon teleport,
Exactly.
like miracles can happen and very quickly. So
A lot of these actually end up with us going to an engineer and asking
자화자찬하고
how long it
앉았네.
would take to do it.
당연한
And
거를.
the first answer is to do it right.
First answer is
That's
they
very big
cry.
number.
Yeah.
And then there's like, okay, well, what about
놀라울
making it
정도로
work right
빨리
now? And
패치해주지
always if you
않았냐.
told me you wanted to do
악몽 던전
this X
순간이동.
months ago, I could
난
have done
이건
it
잘
way
들린다.
easier because we
존나 잘
implemented it
들리네.
completely differently. So yeah, we make it work, but sometimes the fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, look, all right. Like, zoom in on me. Zoom in on me.
Come closer.
Let's do that.
웃어?
Okay, it's not going to happen. There it is. Okay, yeah, all right.
새로운 내용은 안 나오고
It's a live
있어야지.
game. We know we need to, like, be... It's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves. We're kind of seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players playing and enjoying the game. We want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program. Like we're hearing feedback about this and this, and like inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others. But we are rapidly moving on as many changes as we can because we are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4 possible in the fastest time frame that we can to deliver to the player base. Because we're players too. We also want the same things. So just know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers and the staff's been helping with all of the hotfix and everything else. We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high quality experience to players on a regular basis. So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback. We're going to keep making adjustments as we go between seasons and other updates.
I can attest that whenever Joe would like
당연히
to
우리도 플레이한다 뭐 어쩌고 하네요.
from read wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually. When it makes sense and when it's comfortable. No, it's always, could we do this right now? Is it possible for us to do this right now? So
I want to
that's
move
the first version.
I want to move the Overton window where I just expect.
내용이 지금은 없고.
But this is the thing about about doing it safely.
대가리
I think
받고
one of the
있어요
sort
지금.
of
죄송합니다.
the junior mistakes some people can make is
막아서
this idea
미안합니다.
like time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test and make sure that it's robust and stable. And so that's one of the things that when you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know, we're up to 15, 16 hot fixes or more now.
Yeah.
And our big client patches is that ability of not only can we get we have some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your patience on that. And so this is exciting. Season 1, Season of the Malignant.
Yes. It's finally here.
Yes.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a long time.
And, in 2 weeks, and again, like Tim
it's
had
not
mentioned,
technically here for you all, but soon. Very soon.
As Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
여자씨가 정리 한번 해주고 있는 거고.
Who was on our campfire chat before?
Yep.
She categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words as super chonky for Season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were chonkers. So we're going to pull up the Wikipedia entry and actually go through it, the history of chonkers. But yeah, it is very big. So we will have notes up for that. And again, players can prepare for Season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
The campaign,
and making
clear
sure,
the fog of war.
clear fog of war, discover the map, and of course, get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4. And then again, we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What our balance changes to bug fixes to you name it. I can go on. There's even some reward changes coming for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well. Some endgame activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding hey, it would be great if we can get maybe better rewards with some of these activities. And so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But I know we want to do Q&A.
We do.
Yeah. And this is a live stream, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this is live. No, this is totally live. So we're actually going to be bringing in. We're actually going to kick off.
Q&A를 자기네들끼리 하려고 하나
just
봐요.
kidding. Rod is actually just
I'm actually going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know. That's the worst. Rod's going to jump over here. We're actually going to bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team, who will be jumping in here.
I think you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in. I know we have questions queued up from different people in Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions and everything.
This is not quite in. You need to scooch clearly.
Oh, I need to scooch too, because I think I'm
I think we scooch a little bit more.
Live television.
We're scooching live.
And we're scooching live, scooching. Ladies
So
and
here's the problem. We also the
Like all
production
kinds of
team hates me.
cables beneath us and
I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because I literally go like, oh, we're only gonna have like 2 people, and then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people. So I apologize. They are angels, and they deal with me. But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and forth in between both of them. But we do. Oh, perfect. We do have some questions.
미리 받아놓은 것 같아요.
Calling me, which is
내려놓을게요,
awful
잠시.
at this time. Quick question. Any updates around, this is for D4 specifically, any updates around respecting characters?
Yeah, so right now I think that there's a few different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and then there is at various stages of the game. And then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side. Things we want to do to improve the flow of allowing players to respect their characters. These are things we're actively investigating. We have designs for things we're looking to add into seasons in the future, but we don't have a date that we're committing to today for that. And in terms of the actual
대충 해석하자면
we're evaluating things.
수많은 경험이 필요하고 함부로 건드리기 어렵다 이거예요.
We're not making any fundamental
맞죠?
structural changes today at this time. But we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 1 to 50.
그러니까 캐릭터 밸런스
One thing
얘기하는
we'll
것
be adding,
같아요.
though, is as part of seasons, there's now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season.
아닌데?
Called the Scroll of Amnesia, which once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go for no gold cost at all. So these are gonna be like pretty fun things to bring back with you to the Eternal Realm if you want to use for future playthroughs or for that character or another character. So we want to make sure that we're like slowly adding a few of these as the players progressing through the experience. Kind of make that a little bit easier for players to go through.
And that Scroll of Amnesia is everything. It's all your skills,
It's all your skills,
Paragon,
all your Paragons,
everything
yeah.
goes to 0.
Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal, we have a question from, I'm reading everyone's names, 8 Miles West. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on, but if you guys want to reiterate.
The Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if you're a new Immortal player, or you're a existing Immortal player, you can literally jump in, start playing the Blood Knight on day 1, which is on July 13th.
블러드 나이트이 또 나오네.
And of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that has essentially custom VO and everything associated with it.
That's right.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually that's a
usually-
safe statement all the time. Is you should be more
We have
prepared.
Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, awesome.
Perfect. Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with something, you're like,
아마도
this might be a
분위기가
really bad idea, but and that's you putting up your shield saying, this is my design
이제
armor.
디아포
I know
얘기
this
여기서
might be
마무리할
really
것
bad,
같죠?
what we're talking about anyway. So yes, I should probably be more prepared. But
그러니까
that's
마무리라기보다
your design armor.
Question
새로운
from,
내용들 밝히는 건 이제 끝난 것 같죠?
Big
이제.
Lorna.
You
Terrible.
committed to saying
Big,
the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not go questions.
Yeah, from Big Larna, will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's something we didn't actually clarify really.
That is a great question.
요거 다
that actually gets
끝나고
asked internally as well a lot. Like, hey, this is
처음부터
awesome.
한번
We're gonna
싹
keep it around
짚어볼게요.
forever. Initially,
적어놓은 게 있으니까.
no. Like initially, the version of the melee mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game, that we will just make it part of the game. So it is absolutely an option. Some mechanics you might see in future seasons might be that way right away. We might be planning that, hey, this will show up in the Eternal Realm right away.
잠깐만요.
Others will evaluate them as we play.
새끼들 지네가 존나 열심히 하고 있으니까 좀 믿어달라 이 말만 존나 해요.
Yeah, I want to stay on this just 1 second longer. That's not to suggest that we're not going to be, as part of seasons, intentionally using those update opportunities to create content for the base game, like stuff that will persist beyond the end of the season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess.
Right.
So we're not going to do that. What we would end up needing to do is all of those things would be extremely incremental in terms of what they offer to the players over the course of time, and it would make the game extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But things like Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game is going to get very extremely dense and difficult for players to really navigate. We want to be able to like take these things away, introduce new ideas, but having known what worked really, really well with Malignant Hearts and what stuff we could maybe have improved upon, we get to take all those ideas forward.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even, let's take the a player that, let's say, doesn't like to play alts except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian. And, you know, I have 3 different Barbarians already on Eternal because it's the perfect
rogue
class.
player and all you play is rogues and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So I'm a Barbarian lover and I've made all these Barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new Barbarian because we have all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from Barbarians you played in the past. Your endgame is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist in the game forever. The whole idea is that no, every season is a fresh new experience that gives you builds that did not exist previously. So the idea is some of that stuff is always designed to go away.
Yeah.
So Joe, I mean, one of the things.
This is Rod off camera speaking.
Rod off camera. Hey,
yeah.
voice
Right.
guy. Joe,
Yes.
maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place this season as one of the benefits, so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play Season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like an economy reset, players really jumping back in the experience at level 1 with characters, is it allows us to focus on making sure the entirety of that journey is really engaging and exciting for players to go through. And we want to make sure, like by the end of the first session, for example, like you're getting exposed to like the new features and content available that we're introducing in that season. That everything feels like it's balanced in such a way that players can really enjoy the new things that we're adding in the way that they're kind of intelligently mixed with the rest of the features in the game itself. So that we think of that experience is part of what makes the Diablo game a Diablo game anyways, like making a new character, you know, getting those item drops, like building up towards the end. With regards to like the way that we decided to conduct our efforts in seasons for Diablo 4, we think this is a really like the prime example of the way that we can make this work.
But I wanted you to hit on the point, the fact that if somebody buys the game,
yeah. They're not like fundamentally behind.
Yeah, if somebody, look, I'm gonna mess with the camera people. Can you?
Yeah.
You can't even do it, can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking stomach. Oh, hey, what's going on? The notion of the thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's gonna live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind when it comes to. So one of the benefits of seasons is, in Season 4, on day 1, you and I are both level 1. I bought it that day. You have owned the game for a year. We're in the same place. We can play together and have fun together. And so as opposed to everybody from this moment on is now falling behind, seasons allows us to have that fresh start for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's actually, I could have put it better myself. That serves as a really, really good opportunity for us to make sure that players have a starting point together when you want to come in a little bit later into the game experience. If you've taken a season or 2 off because something else came out, you know, we want to make sure that it feels like, whenever you, the most important thing for us in seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like, when you're playing seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind.
But when a season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's a great time to come back. Particularly if you had a good time playing before. That's exactly when you should come back and check out Diablo 4 fresh.
Yeah, I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When the next WoW expansion comes out, there's a non-zero chance that I'm going to play WoW for a while. But it's great to know there's a point that I can come back to Diablo 4 and everybody's on an even footing. Yeah.
Question here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the D4 or DI, so I'm actually going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah. 2 mics, guys. I'm very.
I'm too mic Adam.
You have me in stereo. Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear on the Blood Knight?
So cosmetics purchased prior to the Blood Knight's release will not be retroactive. However, the sorry, what was the Mother's Lament set?
Hatred's Heritage.
Hatred's Heritage will be available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So going forward, there will be now new cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other classes in Immortal. And then I guess for D4, will cosmetics be transferring to seasons, and will they need to be reobtained? I know this was like a question that we get a lot from people in regards to transmogs, and if you salvage specific stuff, how does that work between characters from Eternal and Seasonal Realms?
Yeah, I believe that's all transferring over with you when you go into the new season. And obviously, every cosmetic set that you're via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yes, if you ever unlock anything, your whole account has access to it forever, is the current functionality.
Nice.
I shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like we're going to change it.
Yeah, don't use the word forever, ever.
Yeah. Let's see. Nightmare, this is from Kincho Kimo. This is Nightmare teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance? So this one I think is interesting because Nightmare, we obviously incorporated the teleport here in 103. It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and the team jumped on it really quickly to implement it in a specific way. We have been seeing a lot of feedback in regards to players having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement and maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of Castlevania inspiration with the Blood Knight? Looking very, very similar to some popular characters from that franchise. Very pretty vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
그거
when you're
해줄
working
거면
with
지금
tropic idea
파티원한테
in
순간
fantasy,
이동해버리는 거
vampires,
만들어야 돼요.
you take inspiration from
필요가
all
없잖아.
over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is as much like what we take out as what we leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiricness. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented, and so there were things like turning
하드코어
into
전 세계
mists,
최초
like
백렙
turning into wolves,
기계생이셨어.
etc., that we immediately said, hey, these need to be off the table. And so in that regard, I think there's a lot of familiar that we're channeling, but
한윤님
there's also
안녕하세요.
like a
지금
very dialed in.
대충
identity
요약하고
of the class.
있습니다. 여기
Awesome.
Everybody knows that
좀
it's the
이따가
necromancers that turn
끝나고
into mist.
한번 정리할게요.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have. Will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season starts?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So,
this is from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just wanted
this
to.
is a real person. Yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be functionally and performance-wise. When we go into the seasonal release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more in future streams, when we expect like buffs and nerfs to happen. So we have like a regular set of like patches that are going to be occurring after the season is released, where we have like a better schedule, like in cadence of when we're talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and things were like really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence like we talked about.
So yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season, unless, if one of the malignant powers, I know I've joked about them being broken, but if the zone light's on fire when you use a malignant power, we're going to patch that. But otherwise, we're going to try and keep things stable.
그 밸런스 패치
I know
자꾸
we're running close on time because we're
실드를
planning on the stream
치려고
to be
그러네.
90 minutes and we're 1 minute away. So I'm gonna lightning off a few questions. a big question within chat
Let's
is
go.
obviously about stash space, which is something that we kind of just talked about a little bit earlier.
I'll say real quickly though,
Yeah.
like we definitely hear everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say like, what you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really, really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future, and figuring out how like we're gonna get that
저놈의
accomplished.
Yeah, and also one thing to note is I know we talked
저놈의
about during
악몽
Campfire
던전
Chats
그
about
텔레포트
how,
얘기는
like,
씨발 언제까지 할 거야?
gems and so forth. We're going to be part of the part of materials in the future. So I know when that hits, like that will obviously free up a lot of stash
Yeah, there's
space
lots
for
of different ways
users
to kind of
and
like
stuff
slice away at this problem. And that's like an example of what we're trying to do to start trying to mitigate this a bit.
And then Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. Still wants to level up his main. So in between seasons, obviously, there is. We had talked about seasons lasting 3 months.
It's a minimum of 12 weeks. Sometimes
Yes.
it might be a little longer, but you'll always
Correct.
have at least 12 weeks to complete your season.
Correct. Yeah. So you guys will hear.
12주 동안
Yeah,
진행.
so you guys will hear like no matter what within or like once we hit that 3-month period, you'll start to hear news about the next season actually hitting and everything like that. And then this one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4? We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're now.
We have nothing to announce at this time.
Oh, wow, that was very constrained.
Yeah, Rod sitting off camera can answer that perfectly. So yeah, that I think we're gonna wrap it here for today. Obviously, we talked a lot about all the stuff with Diablo Immortal for the Blood Knight coming out on July 13th. We also have for Diablo 4 Season 1, Season of the
이거
Malignant,
이모탈입니다.
which is gonna
헷갈리시면 안
be,
되고.
the patch will be on July 18th. And then the actual season starts on July 20th. We do actually have 2 blogs,
시간은
one
공개 안
on
됐어요.
DiabloImmortal.com and one on
다 다음 주
Diablo4.com.
목요일입니다,
They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this afternoon.
What
You'll be
about
seeing. Oh, I forgot. That's why I have to do it immediately after the stream. I was trying to get out of it, guys. But we will have a patch. We'll have patch notes up on Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note, and we'll be updating people when that patch does hit. It is a client patch. It will require a download. It will be on all platforms. And yeah, lots of Diablo stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. Really excited. Happy Diablo family.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff coming up. I know we will be rating 2 Diablo content creators immediately after
정확한
the stream.
시간을
One on Twitch, which is
알려주겠죠?
Barricade,
이제.
and the other one on YouTube, which is Killswitch. So make sure to tune into those guys. And thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Diablo Developer Update live
고맙습니다.
stream.
나왔네요,
And
이제.
from everyone here on the Diablo team, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
창고 캐릭이요? 아, 이 새끼들 결국엔 밸런스 내용 언급은 없네. 허허, 유저의 반응은 어떨까? 아, 뭐야. 안 볼란다. 이거 왜 이제 올라가요? 채팅이. 자, 일단 이거 끄고 정리해 놓은 거 좀 보겠습니다. 요건데 자, 처음부터 볼게요. 시즌이 1시즌은 캠페인 스토리 모드가 존재하고, 스토리 모드가 아니라 그 따로 별도의 이제 메인 시나리오가 존재하고, 18일부터 현재 시즌이 시작 안 된 상태에서 미리 해볼 수 있습니다. 고유 아이템, 위상 이런 것들 다 착용해 볼 수 있대요. 근데 18일부터 이틀 동안 고유 아이템이 나올까? 새로운. 그리고 고유 아이템을 좀 더 효율적으로 쓸 수 있게 구상 중이다, 뭐 이런 얘기를 했어요. 두 번째로. 네네. 그 다음에 7월 20일 1시즌 오픈이고 넷째 주 목요일입니다. 근데 요거 이제 하루 차이가 있으니까 미국하고, 그러니까 정확한 시간은 이제 따로 공개를 할 거예요. 얘네들이 날짜는 그 미국 기준으로 7월 20일로 확정이 됐고, 자 그 다음에 그 1시즌의 부제는 그 타이틀은 말리그넌트입니다. 말리그넌트라는 그 오염된 어떤 그 세력의 몬스터를 처치하면 그 몬스터의 심장이 나오는데 그 심장은 보석홈에 착용이 가능해요. 근데 그 말리그넌트의 그 심장을 착용하려면 그 장비에 있는 홈에 그 홈이 일반 우리가 지금 사용하고 있는 보석홈이 아니라 말리그넌트 심장 홈이 따로 있어요. 그래갖고 그 심장 홈이 3종류가 있고 색깔은 4개가 있대요. 심장이. 정확하게 얘네들이 내용을 공개를 안 했어요. 근데 이거에 대해서 제 추측으로는 뭐 4가지 중에 한두 개가 모르겠어요. 왜 3가지 4가지일까? 색상이 3개고 보석홈이 3개면 이해가 가는데 왜 이렇게 했을까요? 이건 정확한 내용이 뭐 그 시즌 정보에 대한 그런 글이라든지 영상이 올라오게 되면 정확하게 알 수 있을 것 같아요. 오늘 같은 경우는 약간 토크쇼 느낌으로 얘기하고 넘어간 거라서, 예, 그렇죠. 패치노트가 나와 보면 이해할 수 있을 것 같아요. 왜 홈이 3가지 유형이 있고 심장의 색이 4가지의 유형이 있는가? 이거 잘 모르겠어요. 아직. 그리고 시즌 인카운터, 그러니까 말리그넌트의 몹을 뽑을 수 있는 그 오브젝트, 누를 수 있는 것이 2개가 있어요. 약간 심장 그 뭐라 그래야 되지? 피 종기 마냥 있는데 2개 중에 하나를 골라서 뽑을 수 있는데 그 골라서 뽑는 대로 그 심장의 색깔이 정해져서 나오겠죠? 그래서 이 1년에 이 저격 파밍이 가능하다. 뭐 그런 식으로 생각하면 되고 6번은. 그 다음에 랩넌트 안녕하세요. 라멘트구나. 라멘트 님 안녕하세요. 그 다음에 7번 새로운 보스 고유 위상이 존재한다는데, 보스 같은 경우에는 뭐 우버 릴리트나 뭐 그런 식이 아니라 킥스타르트 뭐 이런 식이 아니라 이 시즌 인카운터, 그러니까 말리그넌트 정예가 나오는 거기 인카운터에서 눌렀는데 보스가 등장할 확률이 있을 것 같아요. 이것도 추정입니다. 정확한 내용이 없고, 그 보스를 잡았을 때 도살자의 나처럼 보스 고유의 또 다른 유니크 아이템이 존재한다. 새로운 위상은 뭘 해도 나올 거고, 그렇게 생각하면 될 것 같고. 근데 8번 사용 가능한 아이템들은 무료 패스. 이게 뭔 말이냐면 시즌 패스에 있는 무료 패스에 그 보석과 위상과 뭐 요런 것들, 그런 것들은 다 무료 패스로 지급한다. 그리고 말리그넌트 심장 드랍률, 전리품 분해 시 나오는 재료, 그리고 골드 확률, 이런 것들 다 무료 시즌 패스다. 그 게임에 영향을 주는 시즌 패스 보상은 없다. 다 룩달이다. 그리고 유료 시즌 패스의 단계가 89단계, 89티어까지 있는 걸 아까 봤어요. 단계가 굉장히 많아요. 근데 보면은 제가 적어놨죠. 지하실 1개 완료, 이런 것들로 이제 아주 간단한 그 미션 같은 걸 채워서 레벨업을 하는 거다. 시즌 패스 단계. 그리고 11번 시즌 컨텐츠가 어디든 발견될 것으로 추정된다. 이거는 트레일러에서 그 시즌 컨텐츠를 진행하는 그 장면에서 선망 야만으로 했는데 그 야만 캐릭이 9레벨이었어요. 근데 그 아까 말했던 그 고를 수 있다 그랬죠. 시즌 인카운트에서 6번에 속성을 선택해서 정의를 뽑을 수 있다. 그걸 보니까 아무튼 그걸 고를 수 있는 인카운터 자체가 9레벨의 캐릭터한테 노출된 거 보니까 1레벨부터 발견할 수 있을 것 같아요. 새로운 컨텐츠 정해 뽑는 거. 그리고 12번에 밸런스 패치는 조심스럽지만 되게 밑밥을 많이 깔더라고요. 하지만 반드시 존재할 것이다. 이것도 패치 노트가 나와 보면은 나오는 내용이고, 그 다음에 13번에 시즌 컨텐츠나 데이터베이스 중 좋았던 것은 스탠다드에 편입시킬 수 있다. 예를 들어서 뭐 말리그넌트 심장, 말리그넌트 홈 이런 것들이 뭐 성공적으로 이제 인게임에 녹아들었다 이러면은 앞으로의 스탠다드에 편입돼서 아마도 시즌 2 때도 그 컨텐츠가 똑같이 존재할 것이다. 뭐 이런 식으로 굴러가겠죠. 그 다음에 언제 입문해도 늦지 않았다는 느낌이 들게 게임을 개발할 것이다. 그러니까 1시즌이 나와도 아직 디아4를 시작 안 했어도 구매해도 잘 녹아들 수 있게 그런 식으로 개발하는 중이다. 뭐 이런 얘기를 했고, 그 다음에 시즌은 12주 동안 진행되면서 프리시즌이 존재. 그러니까 뭐냐면 지금 현재 우리가 게임하는 것처럼 스탠다드만 존재하는 그런 프리시즌이 존재할 거다. 그게 뭐 한 길면 한 2주 정도 됐으면 좋겠는데 한 달 갈 것 같기도 하고 뭐 그런 느낌입니다. 지금까지 공개된 게 이거밖에 없어요. 내용이. 그러니까 생각보다 많은 내용이 없어요. 우리가 기대한 건 지금 도적이라면 활도적을 쓸 수 있게, 활도적이 또 강력하게끔 스킬 자체의 밸런스를 조정해주고, 뭐 늑대라면 늑대가 싸대기 때릴 수 있는 늑대, 그리고 뭐 원소술사면은 메테오 원소술사를 할 수 있게, 강령술사면은 피해 쇄도 강령술사 할 수 있게, 뭐 이런 거를 좀 기대를 했는데 그런 거에 대한 내용은 전혀 없었습니다. 근데 단순하게 밸런스 패치는 있을 것이다 이러고 넘어갔어요. 얘네들이 오늘은 정보를 전달하는 게 아니라 약간 토크쇼처럼 진행을 해갖고, 저번 라이브 스트리밍처럼 이렇게 해서 마쳤는데, 혹시 제가 틀린 내용이 있나요? 지금 제가 정리한 거 중에 없나요? 틀린 내용이 있을까요? 말리그넌트 심장 옵션 자체를 딱 하나 보여줬어요. 어떤 뭐 라이트닝 어쩌구를 무슨 특정 조건을 걸면 극대화 확률 증가, 요거 딱 하나 보여줬거든요. 그래가지고 아마도 그 정확한 패치 노트가 나와 봐야 우리가 만족할 만한 내용, 새로운 컨텐츠는 공개가 됐는데 우리가 만족할 만한 중요한 내용, 그 밸런스 패치죠. 그런 거는 아직 모른다. 아, 이런 결말 별로 안 좋아하는데, 네, 딱 요렇게네요. 더 이상 뭐 중요한 게 있나요? 여기서 더? 아무튼 간에 이 시간까지 열정을 불태워가지고 방송 봐주시면서 번역도 도와주시고 한 분들도 감사드리고, 저는 요거 토대로 1시즌 예고 영상을 만들러 일하러 가보겠습니다. 템 세팅에 따라서 스킬 이펙트랑 효과 변하는 정도의 패치. 아, 스킬 이펙트. 예를 들자면 뭐 그런 거죠. 지금 현재 도적 연타 위상에 연타가 원래 정면으로 나가는데 원형으로 나가게 바뀌어요. 이펙트는 또 비슷하고. 근데 그런 식으로 특정 뭐 야만용사의 어떤 그 소용돌이 위상을 끼면, 위상을 안 낀 애는 범위가 500원짜리만 한데 낀 애는 손바닥만큼 커진다, 범위가. 뭐 요런 것들 말씀하시는 거죠, 보통. 저거 제가 이해를 제대로 했다면. 뭐 그리고 메테오도 엄청 밝게 막 불타는 메테오 운석 덩어리 이렇게 바뀌어버리고, 이펙트 자체가. 자, 오늘 이 시간까지 영상 스트리밍, 개발자 스트리밍 보시느라 고생하셨고요. 저는 그러면은 영상 하나 만들러 한번 가보도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 제가 휴방하고 내일, 그러니까 토요일 밤 10시 방송 켜서, 잠시만요, 이거 하나 보여드릴게요. 방송 켜서, 아유, 개극혐이네. 언제 이렇게 커져 있었어? 방송 켜서 오늘 저 상점에서 4,200만 골드 주셨거든요. 상점에서 주순 요 반지 요렇게 하다가 4,200만에 팔아서 상점에서 주순 거 이 정도. 요거 시청자분들 그 재밌는 어떤 아이템에 관심이 많을까? 요거 계속 하면서 세라프 좀 키워가지고 오겠습니다. 예. 그러면 저는 인사드리겠습니다. LW님, 움밤님, 움바님, 라멘트님, 한유님, 노나요님, 이정님 감사합니다 오늘. 그리고 다들 주무실 것 같은데 쭉쭉쭉 올려도 언제나 행복하길님, 조던님, 모두 이 시간까지 방송 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 동현님, 하동현님, 뚜이님 계시나, 영호님, 조던님, 다들 감사합니다. 플로님 안녕하세요. 감사합니다. 봐주셔서.
원대표님 구독 감사합니다.
구독 감사합니다. 그러면 저는 토요일 밤 10시 방송으로 돌아오도록 하겠습니다. 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 방송하겠습니다.